When was the last time you ordered clothes online and got to try them on before paying for them? Never, right? Well, that's exactly what jackthreads.com does. You can try anything on at home for free, and you only pay for what you keep. Whether it's a big name brand or the Jack Threads in-house line, you can be sure that you are 100% in love with the items you ordered before spending a cent. Guess what, everybody? Tim Gettys has used jackthreads.com. They've sent him stuff. It's called the tryout program. Yo, Tim, were you impressed? Yeah, he was. So go to jackthreads.com and enter the code Greggy when you submit your tryout for 20% off anything you keep. That's jackthreads.com, code Greggy, to save 20% on anything you keep. Never buy before you try again. That's a good catchphrase, Kevin. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Nick Scarpino has died. I'm sorry we had to tell you this way. Shout out to him, though. We, all three of us, we sacrificed our weekend, did a live stream. We went, we did the live stream, of course, during the week, wore ourselves out, went to PSX, did a panel there, met a whole bunch of people, you know what I mean? But he's got a scratchy throat. He can't come into work.
He got the itchy throat.
Oh, so convenient for that to happen on Tuesday morning, half an hour before the morning meeting.
Sucking that.
Really interesting. What? I'm sorry, what was he sucking? Over here, the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Sucking that dick! Sucking that dick!
Yeah,
Like that guy in Memphis said to Ramon and I that time. That was really fun.
I don't remember that.
We went to Memphis to see 311 in 2006, and we just walked into this liquor store, and no one was in there, and there was a guy behind the counter. And some guy walked by, must have known the man behind the counter at some point, and they must have had some sort of rapport, because he just sneaks and looks at him and goes, "Sucking that dick!" And then just walks out, and that was the last we ever saw that guy. So we always just scream that out to each other,
nice.
as one young man in Memphis did.
Sure.
10 years ago.
I'm glad.
I had a very similar situation happen last night that Kevin, I don't think Kevin knows about.
Why did he laugh so hard
at it? He was a part of. So last night we went to this fine eating establishment called the Outback Steakhouse.
Of course, as you do.
Part of that
You guys are obsessed with Outback Steakhouse.
Fucking love Outback.
Wait, what time out though? Who went oh no. You met up with Greg and Cool Greg and Kevin to go over there? Okay.
Yeah. So I meet over there, we're eating. Real Australian people sitting next to us. We had a big discussion. Are they plants? Something seems off about this. But anyway, that happened. That's not part of the story that I'm telling. We leave. We're walking out, and Kevin's doing his whole "I'm Kevin, I'm gonna be a dick" thing. Yeah. So it's him and Cool Greg. They're walking in their car. I'm walking in my car, and Kevin, we're walking away, and he goes to scream at me.
Yeah.
And he screams something to the extent of "Go suck a dick" or "Choke on a cock." Something very Kevin-like that he would proclaim very loudly.
Sucking that dick.
In a parking lot. However, what he didn't notice is that there was a car pulling up right next to him that this nice young woman driving a car rolled her window down and she was asking, "Are you leaving so I could park there?" And perfect timing, Kevin screams out, "Go suck a dick." Turned her direction because I'm pretty far away. He has no idea. They just keep walking. She just looks like so offended and so hurt.
God damn it, Kevin.
And yeah, so that was that. Good job, Kevin.
Dude, don't even care. It was a fucking moment. I laughed for like maybe 10, 15 minutes with Greg. Cool Greg.
Yeah, Cool Greg. I know.
It was.
I know. I'm
awesome.
aware I wasn't there.
Are you?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
I was only
you
invited to
wouldn't
Outback
go
Steakhouse once.
You're invited all the time, and you're always like,
Yeah, it's true. And the one time you did go,
Had a great time.
well, it's also the time that I was like, maybe I should propose at Kind of Funny Live too.
Yeah.
And you were like, that's a great idea. We should do that.
Yeah,
I was like, all right.
happened.
I'm like, all the
Now
time.
you're
You
engaged.
Definitely.
y'all
That's
don't,
true.
all the time.
Was it a good?
About
was a good
food?
idea?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I just plan on I like cooking, so I have so much food.
Okay, well, you can plan that we don't.
Here's what I was thinking, because the other day, had Colin Moriarty, Aaron over for dinner to their own house.
Stop inviting me to my own house, by the way, for dinner. It's strange.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know.
Otherwise, you're gonna say you're not invited. You're gonna be you'll be a big baby about it. And you'll like sulk and you'll make your
I don't
quesadilla
sulk.
and take it into your room.
I don't sulk about anything.
You'll-
I do. I made a la quesadilla. But again, you're having dinner.
I'm throwing a wing ding.
You're doing a wing
Yeah.
ding, and I get an invite. And I'm like,
How do you want me to invite you?
It's this manifest destiny, sir. Like I will be in the house eating the wings, whether or not I'm invited. I'll just come out of the bedroom and eat them,
in your
then come back.
military issue boxer shorts.
I know, dude, you got to see the boxes I'm on now. Like it's a very desperate situation. I mean, no, these are the last.
Oh, they are the military,
ones. But after that, now we're into the.
It's a new age.
Oh my God! Now we're into the ones that have been in the drawer, just sitting there for maybe years.
Yeah.
Just so hard for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
They're
why?
you're just one of them might have been a cum rag for all I know. I don't know. You know
Who knows?
You have,
But- yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Finish
please.
it- finish
I
your
don't even
current
have anything
statement.
else. It does
The
not
thing
work.
was, the other day, the girls recorded their exclusive episode of the Game Over Greggy show for December. When
I did some extensive edits on that one.
who would have thunk it? When that was getting ready to happen, though, Aaron had texted Jen to go into your room and secure a T-shirt. She couldn't find it, so I came in because I knew the shirt they were looking for. And we're in this drawer, and I start going through, and you have this drawer over by your bookcase, right? Yeah, over by your bookcase.
Oh, just some T-shirts?
Yeah, and like the T-shirts in there that you never wear. Like I'm in this drawer, and I'm like, he doesn't wear any of these.
What I told you was, and I meant it, is I have probably 250 T-shirts, like at least, going back to high school. Ones that like because some of them are awesome. Like I don't want to throw them away.
Sure.
I was going through my shirts the other day actually, and I found a Grand Theft. My brother's friend Rick Valenzuela worked at this newspaper in
Shout out to
Philadelphia, and this was 2001, and he gave me a Grand Theft Auto 3 shirt that he got in the mail, like a piece of swag, and I found it's petsovernight.com shirt.
Nice.
And it's awesome. I was like, wow, this is like this is an ancient piece of gaming swag. So I just. I have those shirts. Every once a year, so I'll go in there and get rid of like 10 or 15
The
of them.
purge.
But I have these shirts on, like there's, because I used to wear my, I was skinny at one time, and I had shirts, I wore my shirts really tight in the baggy pants like everyone did. So I sometimes put those shirts on
Like
just to make
Alien Ant Farm.
myself laugh. I have
Yeah.
belly shirts now.
The topic I've wanted to do on the Game Over Greggy show for a long time, but requires too much planning, is bring in your favorite T-shirt, and we talk about our favorite T-shirts.
Yeah.
But of course, when we sit down and actually talk about the topics an hour before we go on, it doesn't help.
It doesn't help,
way to
no.
work. Yeah.
I'm in the process of moving now, so
Yeah.
I am in the middle of my yearly purge of the T-shirts. And what blows my mind is the amount of sleeping shirts I have.
Sure.
I like to sleep in T-shirts. So I just have drawers on drawers on drawers of these things. And in the industry that we're in, that never stops.
No,
You
free
keep getting
T-shirts
these
come from
free
everywhere.
shirts left
Yeah.
and right. And it's just like, it's gotten to a point now where it's totally function over fashion, which is backwards for the Tim Gettys mentality. But when I get them soft shirts, like I have one that I got, someone gave me at PAX, someone threw it at me. I don't remember who, I don't remember why or how, but it's the one that's like, love is, you gotta help me out here. Love is something. It's a thing. It's a thing that John Cena did.
A battlefield.
Oh, love
is a battlefield. That's
I know what you're
true.
talking about. I can't help
John
you.
Cena did some shit like love is not hate or something. I don't remember.
Love is not hate. John
It's
Cena.
not. It was some weird love is art.
John,
love is,
he took like a chair shot. He's like, "Love is not hate." I'm like, all
but that's
right.
the softest shirt I've ever owned. And so yeah, that one made the cut. My 4 GameSpot shirts,
No.
one of them.
Yeah.
One of them can stay. Don't need the other 3. White writing. Yeah, on black shirt. But yeah, it's been a lot because it's hard because you have them, you're like, maybe one day I'll wear this.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you won't. Stop.
It's just a little memory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
that's a
really.
good
It's not
point.
really. It's not really. A problem for me. So
Having too many T-shirts or just T-shirts
yeah,
you
I
don't
mean,
wear.
they're not. They're not hurting anyone.
Sure. I got a lot too. I should purge soon too.
I love throwing shit away, though. You
Yeah,
know? So I mean,
yeah.
every once in a while, I'll just go around my room and just throw everything.
That's the thing is, I know there's like that bottom layer of T-shirts in every one of the T-shirt drawers that I'm like, I don't want to
I
get
don't
rid of
know
them
what
because
this
of a
is.
memory or something. But
Yeah.
If you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 or 3 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny where you can get each and every show. Oh, I fucking hate you, Kevin. Whose
I
face?
didn't do anything.
Colin's face?
What are you talking about?
Was he making a funny face?
He's making a really funny face.
You can go to patreon.com/kindafunny. Get the show early, along with a whole bunch of other exclusives, perks, and good. That is a good face. If you don't have any money to toss our way, no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we put up the entire show topic by topic, day by day, until it goes up as one big MP3 and video. I have something for you guys. It is not a full-blown topic. But does anyone remember
That was fucking magic.
at the Adam Wells?
Adam Wells.
Sounds familiar.
He, a long time ago,
Related
back in the
to
spare bedroom,
Nate Wells.
gave us Christmas cards. And if you remember, the Christmas cards were a special version of Epic. As since Adam is a single man, he just writes about his video game consoles in the
Yes.
style of
Yes.
a 45-year-old being like, little Timmy did this in baseball this year, and Susan had a hard year. So let's
Adam
see.
Wells, I think the guy that we did the Patreon hangout with a couple days ago.
Okay.
Where he had the botched ass grammar sentence, and we tried to piece it together
Sure,
and figure
that's
it
right.
out.
So here we go.
Oh, right. I saw him at PS6.
Oh, you have we have Skycam ready to go, right?
Yep.
All right, so here you go. Merry Christmas from the Wells
Yeah.
PlayStation, Sega, Xbox family is what we got here. It's him in a little gizmo Christmas sweater. And then what? He's got the Xbox,
Xbox.
there. He's got the PS4 up there. All this other stuff up there.
He's got it's a Genesis, a Dreamcast, and a Saturn. A PS3 in the one arm, a PS4 in the other arm, the Vita in his hand,
nice.
and an Xbox One. But the quality of the picture's not great, so it's hard to see those.
Yeah, a lot of black on
The PS3 is like
black on
totally
black
disappeared, but
there.
it's there.
Yeah.
The question I have is he doing this in his house, or is he actually going with all of these consoles to a professional
No, this is
photographer?
clear. This
To a
has got to
local
be in his
mall.
house because I mean, like, this would be lit better.
Wait.
These would all be lit.
Wait.
What?
Hold on, I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to zoom in. There it is. Hold on.
Hold on, everybody. Stand by for Titanfall from Kevin. Adam Wells fall, we'll call it. There it is. For a low-res photo, we have a
I know, what are you taking
low-res
this from
digital
fucking
zoom.
Is this the fucking Hubble Space Telescope?
Enhance. All right.
Picture in deep space.
What's it say, Greg?
Okay, hold on. Throw it back up because look at this. This photo on the inside is way better. You should have used that. Oh my God, it looks kinda
that's
pornographic.
Awesome.
I like him.
What a year 2016 has been. You'll notice there are even more members in my beautiful, loving family. Tragedy struck Sega, who I had a previous console family with, and Sega is no longer able to support their consoles. And I've taken it upon myself to support Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, and Sega Dreamcast in this desperate time. They have all gotten along well with my older consoles, trading stories of current and past year's console wars. PlayStation 4 has been very active in seeking new dimensions and escaping reality to a virtual set of rigs. PlayStation Vita has had a very active imagination, claimed to have been going on quests with dragons to build things as well as fighting enemies until they are severed. PlayStation 3 has been trying to find itself, but is eagerly awaiting 2017 in hopes of finding a fifth Persona. Why are you going to play Persona 5 on that? Xbox One has been watching a lot of TV while they gear up for a fourth war of some kind. These consoles, I tell you. For myself, I've certainly kept busy taking care of my consoles, and all of us can agree after a crazy year 2016 has been, life is strange. Merry Christmas. Lots of puns. Puntastic there, Adam Wells.
Adam, don't worry. The nice men coming to your door soon are gonna take good care of you.
The men in the white coats?
Yeah, just go with them, and everything will be fine. You'll be good. Everything's gonna be just fine. They're very nice people.
I appreciate you, Adam.
Tim,
Yes.
what's your topic?
Before I get to my topic, I want to talk about something else real quick. I haven't had any place to give my thoughts on Transformers 5, the trailer for Transformers The Last Night. I just want to say, why are you doing this to everybody, Michael Bay? I don't get it. What did we freaking do to deserve this? I understand it's going to sell really well. I understand people are going to go.
I didn't see the trailer. What happens in it?
Trailer came out yesterday. It's just it's such like... I just love Transformers so much, and these movies, they're trying to offend me. Like, it got to the point where I'm like, Age of Extinction, one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Then I see this, and I'm like, there's no way.
Is Mark Wahlberg in this one again?
He is,
Wow.
and he has long hair, and I'm like, wow, I don't even understand it. And then it ends with Optimus like about to kill Bumblebee, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I'm sure he
shit?
got hacked. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I know, but like, there's no story that can make this okay. I'm very upset. You should be ashamed of yourself, everybody.
I bought it on eBay.
Are you ladies' man 6969? That was the best part.
My topic for the day is a story that Kevin and I experienced last night, I want to say. 2 nights ago at one Signora's pizza place. Not the one that blew up a couple years ago.
Yeah, not your favorite one. Your
it's
favorite
the one on
burned down.
Taraval or
The
whatever?
one on 19th and Taraval, the sister site. It is back.
But it's not as good, you were saying.
Oh, it's different now. They expanded. There's murals of Ninja Turtles. They have the classic Ninja Turtles arcade game, except it's never on, so that's upsetting. But my story, I don't know. The topic will kind of find itself. There is definitely a moral here at some point. But Kevin and I go to get some pizza. We order it. We got to wait for our slices, and we're just kind of sitting there. We're the only people in this establishment. Eventually, this kid comes in, must be 22, 23 max. Just a little dude. He is pretty foreign. I'm not exactly sure where. Where would you say he's from, Kev?
Can I get a Minority Report on he's pretty foreign?
How foreign was he, Kevin?
It was accurate. He was somewhere from Eastern European, wherever
So that's pretty foreign.
that YouTube guy's from. What's his name?
Flula?
He
Yeah.
sounded just like Falula.
Yeah, he did.
Like exactly like Falula.
Okay.
Which
It was-
seemed like a fake accent to me.
It seemed like there was a lot going on, but this kid comes in loud as fuck by himself. And we're just like, oh man, you can already tell this guy's drunk. There's a problem here. This is not going to go
What time?
well. I would say maybe 10 p.m. on a Sunday.
Gotcha.
So like this fool should not be in the state that he was. Goes to order and starts talking to guys. And instead of ordering, he just starts saying a bunch of half sentences that are super out of order. And again, super Flula-like, where it's like, what the fuck are you even trying to say?
But you're hanging out with Kevin, so you're used to this half sentence.
Exactly. So I'm trying to just to understand what's happening. He starts laughing to himself, freaking out. He picks up this pen, puts it in his ear, and he just keeps laughing. And pretty quickly we realize this fool's not drunk. Like he's definitely on some other shit. Like bare minimum mushrooms, maybe some LSD. Who the hell knows? But this is about to be.
This is drugs.
There's some drugs. This kid has done drugs.
Gotcha.
So we're sitting
Hardcore
there.
drugs.
Eventually, he stops talking to the people, runs
Oh,
over to
no.
me and Kevin,
Oh,
and like
no.
he goes to high five us.
He
and
goes
Kevin,
to shake my hand.
He goes to shake Kevin's hand, and Kevin's sitting there with the pizza. He just looks at me and goes, no, just keeps eating. And this kid goes, oh, okay, sorry. I get it. Next time, sorry. But he still sits down next to us. And me and Kevin are trying to pretend this isn't happening. You know that we've all been there. That moment where like, oh man, like we live in San Francisco. You guys have been here, 10 years now?
Yeah.
You've experienced shit like this. But we're sitting there and this kid is just like maybe this far away from me. I see him sitting there. He has his pen. He keeps taking it out of his ear, putting it in the other ear. And he's just like going crazy and like laughing to himself. Then he grabs the Parmesan cheese.
No.
And he grabs a menu, rips the menu in half. He's just sitting there, takes the Parmesan cheese, puts it on the menu. And I'm just sitting there like,
Please tell
oh
me it's the
God,
menu.
oh God. Just goes, and starts rubbing it on his face. And I'm just like, trying not to laugh because I'm like, oh, this is so bad. And then me and Kevin are having our little like dialogue without talking because I'm like, we don't want this guy to get excited from something we say, right? He eventually stands up and just darts outside, runs out, and we're like, God, thank God that's over. What the fuck was
Please,
his problem?
sir, lock the door.
And I was like, Kev, did you see him rub the Parmesan cheese on his face? And like, Kev was just so into his food that like he didn't even fucking
How the
notice.
fuck do you not see that, Kevin?
I mean, at a certain point in San Francisco, like you know what the rules are. Just stop paying attention to them, or else they're going to become your problem.
Yeah. So that is the
that's
rule.
what I did. Yeah. I was like, all right, there's a fake wall. I don't see him doing all the craziness.
So at this point, two other people come in and they're now eating as well. Guys around our age. One dude playing Majora's Mask on 3DS. Thought that was weird.
Nice.
But they're just there
Why is that
chilling. I mean, just
Great
like,
game.
I don't know. Out of all places, like, I would never be like, hey, it's 10 p.m. on a Sunday. Kev, let's go to Senor's Pizza and play Majora's Mask with the volume all the way up on your 3DS.
All right, that was
kind of weird.
That's rude.
But anyway, they're doing their thing. Then this dude comes back.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, it's about to be an adventure. So now that there's other people in the restaurant, it's a little more fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like we can divert the attention a little bit off of us.
Math. Yeah.
This dude runs over to the counter again with pen in his ear still. Now he remembered that he had the Parmesan cheese and the peppers over on the table. So like he had something to deal with. He runs in, he goes, I'm so hungry. And we're like, oh no. And like the people that are working there, I can't believe they didn't just straight up go. Or like call the police or something. Cause like it was a scene the moment it started happening. But this motherfucker goes, I'm so hungry. And then he starts dancing and he just does this whole fucking routine and then runs out again. Now everyone in there, we're all laughing and like, this is ridiculous. He comes back again. So hungry. Then he walks in and he goes like, is it ready? And they're like, you never ordered, sir. And he was just like, oh, I'm hungry. You know what? Let's make a deal. And I was like, oh God. And he goes, you get me girlfriend. It's like, what the fuck? And the guy's like, huh? And he goes, I trade you peppers for girlfriend. And he's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, no, girlfriend. And he starts doing this like heart thing.
Yeah.
And then he points at this girl that's working there. And he goes, like her. Very pretty. Doesn't need to be her. Just like her. Mwah, 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 and just starts like blowing kisses, not even at her, just in general. And we're like, oh man, this is such a goddamn disaster. And it just kept going. And eventually, like, he kept trying to pay for a girlfriend and food with the peppers that aren't his, are Senora's pizzas. Keeps going. He keeps getting louder and crazier and just starts. Then he runs in the bathroom, and which is like in the same area as everyone else, does not close this door. And he's like a fucking racehorse. You just hear this thing, and he's just like going crazy in there, making so much noise, and it's like, oh man, like it was hitting that line of, is this funny or is this scary? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
The biggest problem was he had the pen, so it's like at any moment he can look at us and be like, oh, these guys are bad guys. I need to kill them. You know?
Sure.
And I'm like,
You're dead. Kevin will kill him, but you're dead.
Yeah, I'm so dead.
He ordered a cheeseburger.
He then proceeded to order a cheeseburger.
Do they do cheeseburgers at Senora's?
I don't know.
Just making sure.
Which was the fuck, like when he ordered the cheeseburger.
It seemed like they made it.
So my favorite part, he orders a cheeseburger, and then he tells them how much it's gonna cost.
What was he thinking the going rate for a Senora's cheeseburger?
$11.02.
Gotcha.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's like, cheeseburger, $11.02. And he had the peppers.
He's still trying to pay with the peppers.
Yeah, still trying to
He's
pay
not
with the
using the
peppers.
money at all.
So this is all going on, and at this point, like, Kevin's trying to ignore it, but I'm just like, I just can't.
See, I thought Kevin would enjoy this more than most. I'm surprised he's trying to ignore it as much.
I mean, until the breaking point, I've got my rules. I don't want to.
Just don't interact.
Yeah,
You
you
don't
don't interact. That's the
It was one of
rules.
those things where it was so funny and it was so ridiculous, but we didn't want to take our phones out and record it
We
because
thought
it was
about
like
it.
it was too much attention on us. There wasn't enough people, even with
To
the other
diffuse the
group, to
situation.
diffuse
Sure,
it.
sure.
But there was a breaking point
Yep.
where Kevin had to acknowledge that this was
Fucking
happening.
Laugh my ass
And the
off.
moment was when this guy leaves again, eventually comes back in.
BTW, for the set, this has been quite the story, and I'm enjoying
Mm-hmm.
it. Don't get me wrong. What's he wearing? Is he just in jeans and a t-shirt? No?
Real nice clothes. I mean, like
Like a suit?
No, not that nice, but just like nice jeans and like a really expensive nice watch.
Gotcha, okay.
So I'm like, that dude, honestly, the way he was acting, if he was fucking with anybody that wasn't us, he would have got his ass kicked, his watch stolen so fast because he was all up in people's personal
Sure.
space. Him talking to Colin, oh no, that would have went over very, very poorly. But this motherfucker ends up going underneath the counter.
Slides up.
So he's in the corner, and he's hiding under the counter. And then the moment that broke us was when another person walked in, totally unaware of this situation, walks up to order, and then this dude slides out from under the corner, slides up against the wall like fucking Solid Snake, and is standing this close to the dude. And the dude goes to order some pizza. He's like, hey, can I get a slice of combo or whatever? And this dude just looks at him and goes, shh. And the guy's like, what the fuck? And he keeps ordering. He just goes, shh, shh. And Kevin burst into laughter. Because it's like, imagine walking in to order some pizza. You're just a dude. And then this guy is shushing you against the
pretty good.
wall. Oh my God. It was so funny. So then eventually we decided, like, all right, we can stay here and see what happens.
Yeah, let this play out.
Or we can just leave and, not have to worry about anything. So I guess that's my topic. Like,
So you left.
We left at that
Was there
point.
despair in the two Senora's pizza people's eyes as the other normies start to leave?
I don't know.
It's just cracked out
Like-
Eastern European man?
I have a feeling that they knew him. Just like how cool they were with everything. It looked like, oh, look, this dude's back again.
It was shocking
seemed like-
how cool they were.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because, they should have done something. Honestly, like, it was disruptive to the entire experience. And, like, this guy he was not on this planet. Like, he definitely needed some help of some
Sure.
kind. And at the very least, he's running in the bathroom, like, causing this scene, right? But we hit a point where it's like, I wanted to stay. And 16-year-old Tim would have stayed
And filmed it.
and filmed it and whatever. But, now where I'm at, it's like, it just hits a point where I'm not even sure if it's not worth it or if it's just I feel unsafe. It's definitely a combination of the two. But as we left, I was thinking, I think the topic is like, what is that moment? Like, what is the difference and how would you guys handle this situation? And when there's a crazy person, where's the line between this is funny and this is not funny?
Yeah.
Because it was funny and talking about it's funny. But at the time, there was like a veil of fear.
Well, there's that whole thing of like, what is about to happen next? You know what I mean? And like, that's the whole thing of like, because like for me, it was the most recent example of this was Marty Goldfarb and I were out for brunch at Teeth down in the Mission, right? We're out in the back patio and we're sitting at a table. And this guy, in like, you know, brunch in San Francisco, usually drinking. That's what divides brunch and breakfast or just lunch. And this guy wanders down like from the second area, right? And is just wandering like table to table. And he's in a suit jacket or like a blazer coat and a nice button-up shirt. He's not some like scumbag, but he's fucking wasted, like just nonsensical wasted. And he's walking around talking to every table. And he finally walked up to this table that was like all girls that were out for a brunch or whatever and started talking to them. And they're like, no. Well, like only one of them engaged or whatever. And it's kind of like, oh man, look at this guy, he's still doing it. And then he sat down with them. And that's when it was like, I can't enjoy this anymore. Now I've got to watch. And he's like, he's about to do something fucking really fucking stupid. And like what? And one of the girls was already getting up and then went and talked to a bouncer and the bouncer come and got him. So it was like, but there was that like minute and a half of like, I'm not listening to you anymore, Marty, about whatever the fuck you're talking about. Like, does somebody have to go stop this? Is that where we've gotten now with this guy? And then the bouncer took care of it. But there is that thing of just like, fuck, what is about to happen next? And your thing is a great example, the pen behind his ear and like personal space thing. That's the thing. Cause like you said you wouldn't want to be around Colin. I wouldn't want that either. Right. If he would have come up and gotten up here, it would have been push him back and then be ready for what happens next. You know what I mean? In terms of like how he's going to play it off. It's one of those lucky that he's a jovial, whatever the fuck he was on kind of thing.
Man. Kevin asked a good question when we were walking away from the place, which is, I wonder what he's like. It's normally. Like, is this who he is and the drugs like pushed him over the edge or did the drugs change him?
Could be meth or something like that too. So there are a lot of mentally ill people in San Francisco too. And you can divide pretty easily, and I think pretty commonly, at least in my experience, the people that are mentally ill from the people that are drunk or high or whatever. And I don't have any tolerance for the people on that side. You know, the mentally ill, because I really feel in my experience, like the mentally ill people don't really have a hostility to them, and they're not really pushing anything. Like at least like they're being crazy, but they're being crazy in their own world. They don't even know you're there. As opposed to like, you know, I was talking about this with someone recently where I have very little tolerance for annoying or obnoxious drunks. Like people I know and people I don't know. I fucking hate them. I don't understand why alcohol does this to some people. Alcohol mellows me out, makes me laugh, makes me happy. Which is like the only thing that makes me happy. And I think I'm actually fun to be around when I'm drinking, and I've gotten that feedback from a lot of people because it loosens me up. And I never understood the other people that get hostile or like there's just certain people that shouldn't be drinking, right? Just like there's certain people that probably I think you have every right to do drugs. I mean, that's my whole thing. I think you're hurting yourself and no one else. So I mean, I'm not trying to legislate that personally or as far as governmental stuff is concerned. But you know, when you do infringe on other people's space, and I've had not a lot, but quite a few experiences with that where I have to do something about it. It reminds me of, you know, in 2008. I mean, this was a long time ago. I used to go to Hobson's Choice all the time, and I love that place because a lot of people lived in that area. And some dude I was with, like our old friend. Well, I was with our old friend Eric, and Jessica, who we used to hang out with all the time.
Yeah,
too.
I remember. Flight attendant.
Yeah, and who I haven't seen in many years, but
no idea if she's still a flight attendant.
Yeah, no idea. She's married now, I think, and you know, doing whatever she's doing. But this guy like sat next to us and was like I just remember this very vividly, being a total dick, like totally drunk. No one was controlling this person. And you asked me when was the last time I got into a fight or tried to throw a punch. It was actually this night, and I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Very serendipitously, because like he was like I like have a little bit of patience. I'm like, just, you know, I don't bother other people. Like I really don't. I try to like stay out of the way. And I always use this notion of like at the grocery store, I don't wait for someone to bag my groceries. I bag them myself. Like I want to just get the fuck out of people's way. Like keep going. Like stop being rude. Like get out. You know, that's the way. Colin Quinn has this funny thing about New York, his new stand-up or whatever, where he's talking about like how it's considered rude in New York to ask how your day is, or like, oh, it's like just get your fucking bagel and get the hell out of here. Like that's what's polite. So I try to like maintain that, you know, that this is my space. I'm not going to be in your space. This guy sat down next to me and like was drinking my beer and being a total dick and getting in my face. And I remember very vividly being like, all right. And I got up and I like cocked, and I remember Eric grabbed my arm or whatever. And that was, and like saved me from this situation that would have been way like overblown because these people should, and I was 22 years old. I was stupid. I wouldn't handle it that way anymore. But well, not necessarily a hothead. I do have a bad temper, but I just don't like people fucking with other people. I don't like it. It's like, what's wrong with you? Like, this is a society. There are mores and rules. You have every right to be drunk and every right to be stoned and all that kind of stuff, but go fuck off. You know, like leave other people alone. Like, you're infringing other people's space and other people's rights. And then they threw the guy out and they apologized to me and gave me, free beer and all that kind of stuff. But I remember when you and I went to Hardwater, I had two. I had two things at Hardwater within like a 6-month period. Fuck that place now, man. Their menu sucks now anyway. And I really had like a bad experience there after this. But I remember like when some guy came and tried to like.
We were leaving. And we had the phone out for Uber, and as we were
with Ramon.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We were leaving. We were with Ramon and we were coming out to get the Uber, and a town car guy had parked there, and he got out and he's like, "Excuse me, sirs, do you want a ride? I'll give you a ride right now. You can cancel Uber." And we're like, "Nah, we're fine. We got the app." And then he just turned on a dime and was just like, "Well, fuck you and fuck Uber." And we're like, "What the fuck?" And then he kept coming back from the car to engage us. I filmed this. I just tried to dig that video out because I put it together too. I think I put it online. It's like where he was just like, yeah, fucking screaming at us or whatever. Then he almost got in a car accident pulling away because he rolled down the window to scream at us, and we were screaming back at him. And it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, why are you suddenly fucking engaging this way? And it's out of complete, you're imposing on us. You're coming out of the blue, already angry about Uber, not accepting that's what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. What's the second bad experience?
I went there. My friend Kevin, he was the guy that we did the NHL 94 Let's Play.
He won Juke Mania 2015.
Yeah, Juke Mania. And he moved, him and his wife, who I went to Northeastern with, moved to North Carolina where they're living now. Charlotte in that area is becoming very Silicon Valley-esque. So he's an engineer and she's a pharmacist. So they were leaving on it, and we went there for dinner the night before they left.
How long ago was this?
This was like a year ago, maybe. And I was sitting at the bar. It's like a horseshoe-shaped bar at Hardwater. There's these guys, like 3 or 4 of them, minding their own business, and they're doing flights, including Pappy flights, right? And one of them is like a little rowdy and kind of like getting up on our faces and stuff like that. And we were kind of patient with it. Kevin's kind of like me, and Natasha, his wife's a little more patient. She's like a small girl, like, kind of inclination to protect her,
Sure.
like. And she's not my wife, but I've known her for a long time. I have that inclination too. We were kids together, and eventually I was like, he was like in our face, like trying to talk, like doing that weird handshake thing. I'm like, you need to get the fuck out of my face now, because like as Tim says, like I will like eventually it's going to happen now, like eventually I'm going to stand my ground. I have no shame in that. I'm not a tough guy. I don't pretend to be a tough guy, but I am not a coward, and I've always said that. I've gotten my ass beat when I was a kid. But I stood my ground and at least gained some respect by being like, you're not going to railroad me. You're not going to run over me. If I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm just sitting here. You're the asshole, and I'm going to call you out on that. And eventually, like, we walked outside. The guy followed us outside when we left. And eventually came to the point where I was like, you guy got in my face, and I'm like, there are 2 of us. You better hope you fucking take us both out, like, really quick. Like, Kevin will totally have my back. I have no doubt about that. And the guy eventually backed down because you have to exert a little bit of aggression in these particular situations, in my opinion. Now, that can escalate out of control. My dad used to tell me this thing. There's this part of Boston called the Fenway, the Fens. It's not a nice part. It's Fenway Park's on one side of it, Northeastern's on the other side of it. It's this big park. And to get to a lot of like the apartment buildings and stuff on that side, you got to walk through this park in the middle of the night. It's like super fucking dangerous. People hanging out in there all the time. Rumors of, some murders and rapes over the years and stuff like that in there. And my dad used to tell me, my dad worked in East New York as a fireman. East New York is a notoriously fucking terrible, ungentrifiable part of New York City and Brooklyn. It's awful, awful, awful part of New York City. And he was like, at times like this, you can't show vulnerability. You should walk right towards them.
Yeah.
And he's like, if they want you and you're far away from them, they're going to get you. So the only thing you have to do is either walk in the other direction, which makes you look weak and maybe vulnerable to them if you see them, and then like
turn around,
away, or just like go and just
walk right through them.
And so I kind of took that advice to heart. I don't think that's good advice for every situation or for all situations, but to me, I'm like, you kind of have to stand your ground and be like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm literally walking through a park. I'm literally sitting in a bar, minding my own business, drinking. And the thing that got me really upset with the Hardwater thing was, our friend Eric Castro is in the industry, knows all these people, and I'm like, give me this guy, give me the owner's address, because I didn't really like the situation. They should have thrown this motherfucker out. The reason that they didn't throw him out was because his friends were all fucking doing Pappy flights, which are hundreds of dollars each.
Yeah.
And I emailed the guy and I was like, listen, like I'm not one of these guys who's gonna like wag my dick around or whatever, but I've spent probably $5,000 or more in your bar in the last 3 years, and I've sent countless people to this bar, and you guys just let a loyal patron of yours just get embarrassed in front of, like, and you didn't throw this guy out and all this kind of stuff. Your people were totally irresponsible. I don't like those kinds of situations where people, you know, at seniores, they had somewhat of an obligation to do something about this, and they didn't. And at Hardwater, they had exactly.
I had the same thing happen at Hardwater, not to that extent, where Jen and I were there, and we were sitting there, and this other group of 3 came in, and they were friends with the bartender or whatever, and they came in and sat down, and they were like, you know, Hardwater's like low light ambiance, right? And like they were just fucking like scream talking next to us, you know what I mean? And everybody else, and like disrupting the bar. We were at the bar. And like I was waiting for someone on the staff to tell them to shut the fuck up, and no one ever did. So like when somebody came, whatever maitre d' came by, I grabbed her, and I was like, "Hey, move us." Like I'm not like these guys. They're not doing anything wrong technically. They're just being really loud, and nobody seems to care. But I'm not gonna fucking sit next to this and struggle to hear. And they did. They didn't apologize though. Nobody ever talked to that person.
That place is lost its luster. It's similar to Apache's in a way where it's like I don't even give a fuck anymore. The situation is that. I just like this narrow vision of like you're doing like everyone should be doing their thing and not infringing on other people, and it is incumbent on you, I think at times, if it's smart and necessary, to stand your ground for the sake of those around you. You know, like that drunk asshole at Hardwater. I didn't want to fight anyone, and I probably would have lost. But again, I'm not going to back down and be a coward when I'm not doing anything wrong, and that's always been my like my mantra with that kind of stuff is that. I'm not a tough guy at all. I don't walk around with a swagger, but like, don't think you can push me around and be a dick to me and you're gonna get away with that without at least some sort of verbal sparring. And if you feel like you need to escalate that, then there are gonna be consequences for you. You know, like, and I'm not saying that I'm gonna beat you up. I'll probably get beat up. You'll probably go to jail. And the only you know, I've tried to narrow that down. I mean, I'm just being honest. I've tried to narrow that down since my 22-year-old experience at Hobson's Choice when Eric, you know, our friend Eric, like, you know. Basically was a second away from, you know, of that thing getting out of control like it used to maybe in college or something like that. And I was still had that very much college mentality at that time. But these more recent examples of craziness of people being crazier, and it's not even, and again, it's not crazy people. It's just drunk and fucking stoned and high people, whatever. And I'm not like that when I'm drunk, and I'm not like that when I'm stoned. So I don't understand why other people feel the need to treat others like that. Like have a little fucking self-respect, a little self-control,
you're hitting on, right? It's the ability, it's the fact that you and me and Tim and Kevin, we all like hold ourselves to a higher standard where we would never go out and ruin somebody's experience like that, be loud at a bar, do all these different things. And I always want to be, if it's going to go south, be somebody who's going to step up and be better about it, right? Whether it was going to be the people at Teeth or, you know, a long time ago, Steimer and I were going downtown to Catania over there, you know, just north or just south, I guess, of Union Square or whatever. And we turned a corner and we're halfway down this block, and in front of us, like, and I mean, like at the, you know, at the other half of the block where we were going, you just hear a lady go, "Fuck, stop!" And this guy is running with her purse. And like the rest of the night, I was like, "Fuck, I wish I would have been closer." And she was like, "What would you have done?" I'm like, "I would have chased him. And like just to giving him the fight for it, right? He would have outran me for sure, but maybe with the adrenaline, maybe I could have caught him. And then like, what would I have done? I would have buried my shoulder in his back and slammed his fucking face in the ground when I got on top of him, right? Because like, no, you're not allowed to just be a wild fucking animal and be an asshole to everyone around you and think like it doesn't matter. Like there needs to be someone ready to do that. And I'm that guy, I guess, that I'm ready to do that. I want to act. I want to try to protect people.
Right. And that's the point I'm trying to make. And it's a similar thing. Like you guys are patient and have those like I don't have that patience because I'm telling you, there's never been a moment in time where I've like ruined someone's night out. I've like infringed on their experience by being drunk or something like that. It's never happened. It's just never happened. So like I don't expect that, and I've been drunk many, many times, you know, and I've been very drunk many, many times, and it's never happened. So my whole thing is like, then don't do it to me. If I'm cognizant of enough of an adult to be able to control myself, then you need to be a cognizant enough adult. And if you get in my fucking face or in my space or disrespect those around me, then there's going to be consequences for that. And I'm not saying it's going to be physical consequences. It's going to be like someone's going to stand up to you and make you look stupid. And you're going to be the one that backs down. And if not, and if you throw, I'm never going to throw a punch, the first punch. If you throw a punch at me, then you're going away.
And another great example of this is fucking Doctor Strange, which was like the only time you've been around it when somebody in a movie theater wants to be a complete fucking asshole and think that I won't fucking escalate this beyond belief.
That's so funny because the other side of it, it's like I feel like once you engage back, then it makes everything so much more tense. Like you doing that, it was like, oh man.
But as usual, that guy was a fucking coward. All these people who want to be assholes in the movie theater, as soon as you bop them in the nose, they turn out they're not a shark, they're a fucking guppy. So this asshole tweeting through the first fucking scene of Doctor Strange, excuse me, everybody. And like when he's like, seriously, dude, when I fucking screamed at him in the theater, I'm like, yeah, seriously. And I will continue to be this loud until you put your phone away. I want them to bring security and throw you out. They're not going to throw me out. Until I start fucking punching
I don't know.
you.
It's just like, I guess everyone just handles things differently. Because I feel like that same situation could have been handled. Hey, can you stop?
See, and I'd love to do that, but guess what? There's a fucking promo before the movie telling you not to do this, along with common decency. So like that's the thing nowadays. Is like I feel like Alamo Drafthouse does that great whole thing of like you text, you're gonna get thrown the fuck out, put up a card, and I'm like that you're addressing the situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in here, in a theater where there isn't that kind of fucking system, like it's Lord of the Flies, and it is like. It's 2016. You know what you're doing is wrong and it's fucked up and you know it ruins people's experiences. And like you're saying, most people are the ones of just like, it'll fucking be over in a second and da 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 da. And I gave him his second. You know what I mean? It wasn't like as soon as he brought the phone out, I was on him. It was when he brought the phone out and was scrolling and then started responding. I'm like, all right, crack the knuckles. Here we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same way I treated those kids I was talking about at Jason, the Friday the 13th, when we left IGN one day to go watch Friday the 13th. But this is like at the end of like IGN movie days where like 4 of us went. It was like me, Dunham, Megan Sullivan, and Mike P. And we were up in the back watching this movie, and the movie's almost over. And it's like the final 15 or 30 minutes. And all of a sudden you hear the doors down that we're at the very top of the theater throw open. And then like this line of kids comes up and sits next to us. And there must have been like 7 of them. And they're all out of breath. And then eventually a security guard comes in with like the low light like camera, or not the camera, a flashlight, looks around, doesn't see anybody, and leaves. And then they all go, oh, they're back to breathing loud, and they're just, and I just go, guys, shut the fuck up. Like, and it's like other people are in the theater, and it's pin drop quiet. You know what I mean? They got the fucking message, and one of their shit friends came back up and sat down and missed the entire thing. And he started talking, they all grabbed him like, no,
not here.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to what Greg was saying was common decency, common societal decency, certain mores that we live our lives by, right?
Yeah.
The example I made stands that like someone be like, well, why would you do that, Greg? Or like, Colin, why would you confront a man in a bar for being drunk? And it's like, I would never be the drunk person. I would never be the talker. I would never be the phone person in a movie theater ever. So I'm not putting other people in those positions, and I do not expect to be put in those positions as well. I'm straight and narrow with that shit. You know, like. And if everyone was like that, we wouldn't have these fucking problems. But there's some people in society that think they're fucking tough, or think that they're fucking better than everyone or above it all. There are people that can't hold their fucking liquor, that can't fucking smoke a joint and be normal, that can't do anything, and they're gonna get called the fuck out. And that's the way it's gonna be. The older I get, the more curmudgeonly about that kind of shit I get. And you can only imagine the way 40 or 50-year-old Colin's gonna get at that point.
The thing about the movies, right, is that, I mean, that's the example of what you're talking about. Of like, I've been in that situation before where. To this day, I don't remember if it was an ex-girlfriend or if it was a family matter or something, but I remember something was going on where I might need text it, whatever. And I remember what I did is I had a hoodie and I took it off and put my phone in my hand, up the sleeve, and shut the sleeve. And then when I felt it vibrate at one point, I cocked it open all awkwardly and looked in. But I was going out of my way to not fuck with other people's experience of the movie. And so, like, it's the same time we went and watched, like, Rambo or whatever, and the movie's about to begin, and it's all of IGN. Andy Eddy was, like, the end cap on one of them. And some dude came in, sat down, and the movie credits starts, and this dude breaks out a Subway sandwich. And Andy Eddy turns around and he goes, seriously, man? Like, this, you're gonna fucking do this right now? Crinkling the paper, taking this giant hoagie out. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I remember that day really well, actually, seeing Rambo. We used to see movies all the time.
Yeah.
At IGN, that was fun.
So yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I don't want people to like. I don't want people to misinterpret either of us. I've known you and have gone out with you. You know, known you for a long time and gone out with you many times. And we mind our own business. But I just fucking hate assholes. I hate. So you know, your guys' point. That's one way to handle it, and probably the responsible and adult way to handle it. But I just can't let people get away with that shit.
My whole thing,
I just can't.
My whole thing is I've been on the side enough where something weird, and I don't have any great examples, but where something weird is happening like this, and no one stands up to be part of it with you. You know what I mean? Like the other, and so like if I see it happening, I want to be somebody who'll stand up and be like, "Hey man, what the fuck?" And like the example I go back to is that one time I don't know if we talked about this, where I was on the Muni. And we were going to IGN. We went. This is a complicated story for somebody who doesn't understand Muni, but there's a part where you go underground and then you come out underground. And you're almost IGN. Mm-hmm. We went underground, got to Civic Center, and a panhandler got on the train. And he got on, and this is back when I rode every day, so he always got on at the stop, usually on this train that I was on or whatever. And he gets on the train, and this is the first time ever where I've got my back to him, he's over there, and then Muni, you're sitting like this in rows where you're facing the train wall or whatever, but then they have two sets of seats that are on facing out, like facing at each other, right? I'm trying to explain it for a listening audience that wouldn't understand. And so I'm looking at people who are sitting on those things, and guy gets on, I hear him get on. I'm playing something on Vita at the time, and he's like, "Excuse me, everybody, I'm down on my luck." And I was just, and the guy who's sitting in front of me just looks up from his newspaper and just goes, "No panhandling on the train," as loud as possible. And that dude shut the fuck up. And that was, you know what I mean? Like the next stop, he got off. He understood this was not the car to be panhandling on, and he left. And so we're in the tunnel. We go to the next, as we leave the station where the other guy leaves, we're going still underground. And a woman from across the way, sitting in a similar seat to me, leans over and, "Excuse me, just about what you said," and it was all loud, and I couldn't hear what she said. And the woman next to him, the guy who yelled, goes, "You're right, good job on doing that." And the guy goes, "Oh no, that's not what she said. She's mad at me for yelling at him." And the lady who said it, she's like, "Yeah, that was totally disrespectful. He's a human being. You didn't need to treat him that way." And he's like, "Yeah, but I'm a human being too, and so is everybody on this train, and there's no panhandling on the train, and somebody needs to say something." And then out of the blue, the guy across from him, staring at him, he had a book and he shut it. He's like, "It's the fucking people like you with your and he starts, "Your fucking goddamn loafers and Docker pants, and you're what's wrong with San Francisco. And that guy's on here just trying to fucking make $1, and you're gonna," and then I'll never forget it. The woman who had started all of this just gets up and goes, "This isn't what I wanted," and runs to the back of the train. And this fucking guy now, and the guy who said no pain on the train, I don't know, 45, 55, somewhere in that range, an older gentleman, scrawny. He's not going to start shit. And this guy now yelling is like a 28-year-old guy, not buff, but like he's big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, fuck. And now it's I'm starting to psych myself up of like, at some point, somebody's going to have to interject here, right? How is this going to go? What is going to happen?
So the problem is everyone keeps interjecting. It's like,
well, no, because
cool about shit.
There was, at this point, I'm going to interject as, let's both shut the fuck up. Let's not do this. You know what I mean? And like, it was that thing of, it was the worst possible time because we're trapped in that tunnel. Like when you're coming out of the tunnel, and the guy, he started having the conversation with him or whatever. He's just like, "Well, he shouldn't panel." He's, "Wow, what was fucking wrong there?" And he had like his food in a Tupperware, the guy who had said no paneling on the train. And the guy from across the way got up and slapped it out of his hand across the train. And that's when I took my earbuds. I'm like, "Guys, come on," like scream, right? And then the guy sat back down who slapped the Tupperware. The other no pain on the train guy brought out his phone, and you saw him hit 911. And he put the phone up, and then the guy across the way is like, "You're calling 911. We're in a fucking tunnel. The phone's not going to work." And I'm like, "Exactly, we're in a tunnel. This phone's not going to. Why would you know what I mean?" And then we finally got to the next stop, and the guy who'd been screaming got up and left. And then the guy on the phone's like shaking, trying to talk to like what just happened. It's just like, what the fuck, man?
That's what
like,
happens when
you
you fucking escalate shit. You know what the guy should have done? Walked up to the dude. If he didn't like the panhandling, be like, "Hey, dude, can you not do this? One-on-one. Don't get the whole fucking thing involved, because then everybody gets all riled up and does this shit." That's going back to the movie theater stuff. It's just like, yo, just talk to the dude and just be cool about it. Don't make a bigger scene, because then everyone else has their opinions and they're like, "Oh, don't talk to him like that," or whatever. Like whenever we go to a movie with Sean Finnegan to shut people up, we'll fucking throw shit at him.
That's bad. I wouldn't do that.
And it's like, what are you doing,
He's
Sean?
throwing darts.
He throws like fucking like popcorn, or he'll just throw whatever the fuck. And I'm like, he's like, "We're in a fucking movie. Turn off your phone." And it's just like, you just made this hella awkward for everybody trying to watch a movie.
But it's not. I mean, like the movie theaters. I mean, the train thing. I wouldn't have screamed no panhandling on the train. But I respect the guy who did. Honestly, I'm like, well, yeah, he's doing what a lot of us are thinking of. Like, it's very clear.
And weren't you saying that the guy was like a fireman or something?
Yeah,
too?
that was the thing.
If I saw someone treat a fireman like that, it would have been fucking
dial
awesome.
Dial it down, because what happened is this all happens, and then we get off the train, and I get off at the same stop as the guy who tried to call 911 and report at the operator, and we're walking, and he walked into the firefight. I don't think he might have been a retired fireman or whatever, but he went into
death studio,
fire HQ or whatever there, and that's when I was like, fuck. And like what I regret is that when we both got off the train, I wanted to walk up to him and say, "Hey, let me buy you coffee." Because like again, if this happened to me, I would want somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was trying to
and
do
I
the
fucked
right
up,
thing.
and I didn't, and I regret doing that. But
people
like,
need to be corrected. I mean, I really do feel that
the
way.
theater though, the theater is like, Come on, you know this is wrong. You know this is wrong.
I'm not arguing that it's wrong, but I just think that there's a right and wrong way to handle them being wrong.
I think throwing things is wrong.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think somebody
I
screaming.
think yelling is also wrong.
Nah.
It's like it's disruptive to everybody. I mean, I'm telling you as someone that was there.
Yeah.
Like Nick too. Nick was just like Nick's first reaction was Jesus, Greg.
I know, and Nick's a huge pussy because when the phone came out and it was out for a long time, I saw him do one of these, and I was like, oh, he's mad too, which got me even more angry that he was ruining Nick's experience as well as mine. And then Nick, the little fucking pussy, didn't have my back. Colin would have been ready.
Oh my
Colin
God.
would have been up with nunchucks.
Then it would have been even more
Pitchfork.
awkward.
That's why Colin and me want to fight somebody. Want to fight him. Kevin, you want to fight us? Yeah. Bring it on.
I mean, I think that there are different scenarios. The scenarios that we've painted today, I think, are very different kinds of scenarios that require different levels of response, right? I think the response at Senores, they didn't seem to be too concerned. You guys thought it was funny. If someone like touched my food or was in my space, that's a fucking different story. Then that guy would have definitely gotten pushed at least.
The difference between Senores and Hardwater is that Senores, especially this Senores, at this point on the Sunday night, college kids working here. These aren't Senores fucking owners and shit. Right. These are people. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, they're probably
think
scared
it's funny
too. Or they might be scared or nervous too. You don't know what these people are capable of, but at the same time, the Hardwater situation, not so much the one with Greg, because that was just weird, but with Ramon, but the one where I felt kind of threatened, and I'm like, well,
the fact that he follows you outside is
I kind of have a few options here. It's like I run away like a bitch, frankly, which I'm not, or you like stand your ground and face the consequences one way or the other. But hopefully that guy woke up. That my hope is that. And I know it's not like a teachable moment, but my hope is that guy woke up the next morning and was at least like embarrassed. Like he maybe was just tanked and was like, what did I do last night?
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed that I acted that way. And someone embarrassed me or stood his ground to me, as opposed to like, that's not okay. Like there are certain things that are just not okay. And if I was being a fucking rampant dick in public and not following the rules of society that have been set forth in the United States for 250 years, then I would expect to be called out about those things as well. And the important thing that I think about, and it's something that everyone should think about, is to just don't put people in those positions. It's not so hard to be like a please and thank you kind of person. It's not so hard to quickly bag your groceries and move on. I was at fucking Macy's with Erin last night. We were picking something up that we bought. These people are waiting there are people, as you know, in department stores, you can fucking pay for it anywhere, any of your shit. There's one place where you have like call in or the internet orders and you go and pick them up. People just waiting in this line, like dilly-dallying, paying for the shit that they're buying, holding everyone up that like went out of their way to buy something online and just go pick it up. Someone, the person in front of us goes and is like, oh, I just want to try something on real quick, goes and tries on a jacket while they're waiting. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, why would you think that that's okay? If I wanted to do that, I was maybe just raised properly. And would be like, I'm going to get out of line. I'm going to pay for my goods, and then I'm going to go try this on. I'll get back in the back of the line because the world doesn't fucking revolve around me.
That's what
and that's the kind of shit that annoys the shit out of me, man. And just as a real quick aside, it is a San Francisco thing or a California thing too. The passiveness is very endemic to this place. Because I've told
Chicago
the story.
people don't take shit.
Yeah, and neither on the East Coast, because I told the story before of, I guess I got so used to like being the only aggressive person, like when the Muni wouldn't work or someone was being a dick and being like, like kind of like getting mad about it, not really saying anything or whatever. But I've told the story when I was on the LIRR going into New York City to see Ramon, and some guy like is getting out and like he's in a suit and tie and a briefcase, walks out, like it was walking towards me, and I'm like, oh, go ahead. And he just walks and I'm like, oh, you're very welcome. And he turns around and says, I'm so sorry that I didn't thank you enough for letting me go first. And I'm like, fair enough. I'm used to being in California where no one would ever say shit about anything. And here in New York, that set that man off, that particular thing, which wouldn't have set anyone off.
Don't talk to anybody in New York.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, so there are geographic differences too. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way you're like where you were raised as well. It's not a tough guy versus a weak guy or whatever. It's more of like there's one of the things I noticed when I moved here was that like everyone's very nice, but like overly nice and like a friendliness as opposed to like, as I said before, in New York or in Boston or probably in Chicago, it's not considered polite to have a conversation with the guy at the register. It's like what's considered polite is to pay for your shit and move, and people will call you out on those kinds of things. And so I think that there, and maybe people in big, certain places. So what I'm trying to say is like, there are differences there too in the way we were raised and all those kinds of things. But I just feel like if everyone went out of their way not to put people in these particular positions and were actual fucking responsible adults that knew how to drink or do all those kinds of things, then none of this would ever happen. None of this would ever happen. None of it. This wouldn't have happened with you at Senores. This movie theater shit with the person, if he was raised by parents, wouldn't have fucking happened. The person at Hardwater, all that kind of shit, wouldn't have happened if everyone just respected each other and respected the rules of the road, but they don't. So it's frustrating to hear these particular things. I'm frustrated for you. just because even though you guys found it funny, that's not funny. Like, you know, like that's fucked up. You should be able to walk into a restaurant and have a normal experience and not be harassed and bothered by assholes, even if they are very foreign, as you guys explained.
Quite foreign.
Quite foreign. I'm sorry.
Inevitably, at the next one of these Marvel Comics movie DC screenings, this will happen again. I'll go your way. I'll do the tap. Excuse me. Do you mind turning off your phone, not being a complete jackass?
Guaranteed.
Otherwise, I'll pump your teeth down your fucking throat. That's
You don't need to do all that.
I'm going to do it really calm. I'll do it really calm. That's what you wanted. That's what you asked for.
It's more a direct message of just, hey, can you stop? They'll say, okay, and they'll stop.
We'll see.
They will.
All right.
I guarantee they will.
Okay. Colin, what's your topic?
I want to just talk quickly about fake news. Just in the sense that, you know, I don't like crooked things.
What are you trying to? You're trying to get it?
Yeah, I just want to
perpendicular to this guy?
exactly.
Okay.
So, I'm just kind of curious what you guys have been hearing about this and what you think about this. I won't get too far into the nitty gritty, other than to say that the campaign between Trump and Clinton had brought up a very interesting notion that there are fake news outlets or people propagating fake or unsavory news or half truths about the other candidate. This is specifically being leveled at Trump people passing things around about Clinton, but it does go both ways, and it goes, you know, to House and Senate races and stuff like that as well, and other things that have nothing to do with politics.
This is the whole Facebook thing, right?
Exactly. So I'm curious what you guys have heard about it and what you think about it, and how do you think it might stop, or should it stop? Because I think it's an interesting kind of topic that has been making the rounds the last few days or last few weeks, really, and I'm kind of torn on it.
Sure.
So I'm kind of
because, like, isn't Facebook talking about banning these stories, these fake news stories?
Yeah,
Tim?
that's the story that's going around.
Just making sure. I'm sorry. I'm keeping abreast of the
Me
situation.
too,
Aside,
just
but
as
not,
much
like,
as you
following
are.
this,
But yeah, Facebook's trying to get rid of it. I don't think it's possible to get rid of it because that requires so much work, and I feel like so much news stories. Like, what defines a fake news story versus a news story that isn't like a rumor, right? Like, is a rumor fake just because it's not confirmed? So I think Facebook's going to have a lot of problems with that. I think that there is no fully solving it. It's really on the people to do the research and understand what is a fake story versus not a fake story. For me, I don't really know too much about the whole political realm of it, but from the entertainment side, there's so many sites that you could just look at, and being educated at all on what a website looks like, you can look at this and be like, they're trying to give me some free iPods. You know, like
any of the stories you find at the end of anyone who's using the Taboola widget. I throw out IGN because we work there and I saw it all the time of like, you won't believe what this celebrity looks like now.
Exactly. And it's just like, then that's not even the same person. There's like all this fucking bullshit. It's just to get clicks, just to serve ads, just to like, you understand why it's happening.
I've enjoyed the one that was going around for a while. Like, you won't believe what child star is dead. And there was a photo of Chandler Riggs, and Chandler Riggs like tweeted out, he's like, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it either. Because like when you click through, it's not about him.
At all.
It's just about child actors that are dead.
But I mean, all that stuff, it's very algorithmic, where things are figuring out what's the best headline and thumbnail that the most people are clicking on. That's why when you're reading articles and you see these like widgets that are just like best of the web or whatever, and it's all the same fucking images you've seen a million times, it's because people keep clicking those things. When you click on it, you have 4 ads on that page. People are making money off that shit. And then it goes a step further when you actually have a whole article that seems realistic written behind it, when it's not just look at these kids. Then all the slideshows, because then those are the things where because what they do there is the number 6 will blow your mind.
Yep.
So then they force you to click through 6 times, and like they're getting all that shit. But it's like it's the articles that seem like they're well written and seem like they're doing something that gets shared. And when they get shared on Facebook, everyone's fucking clicking on them.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I thought you'd naturally on there. The thing about it too is that, remember, it's not even that they're reading the articles; it's the headlines people are sharing. And there was that great, I forget who put it out, but it was the headline was using this loophole, Bernie Sanders could take the presidency from Donald Trump, right? And then when you click through and read it, the intro is like, that's a complete bullshit headline. There's no way that could happen. Donald Trump's your president-elect. But this is the problem, is that 95% of people who share this will not read this, even this far into the article, to understand what's happening.
Definitely. Like, I remember about a year ago, or it must have been longer than that at this point, but there was an article that went out from a site that looked legit, and it was like, oh, the MCU has the rights. It finally happened. Spider-Man and X-Men are going to be in this, and they wrote this whole article that was like talking about how this changes the MCU.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was presented in a real ass way, but it was bullshit ass news.
Yeah.
But that thing went fucking viral because people saw it and it was like, oh, this looks like it's credible. And then
It was the same
millions
thing
and millions of views.
The pairing of what I think turned out to be correct, but when they were talking about Civil War and they were saying Tom Holland's Spider-Man costume, when you first see it, it'll be like, put together by a kid, and they had that art that was like somebody's fan art, but they didn't source it correctly that way. So everyone thought it was concept art, even me, where I was like, this looks fucking awesome. And kids had to be on Twitter be like, that's not what's happening. That's some just
deviant art
I'm like,
shit.
oh, that's still cool. I mean, but yeah, now it skews what I thought that was, right? In
Yeah,
terms of that.
but
And
that's the problem, though, is like, so what is the line between if you saw that article being passed around Facebook on some bullshit ass website that's obviously fake, or when IGN writes an article about it because they got it from this other source or whatever, and they have an article that says, well, rumors are this is the concept art for Spider-Man because it was incorrectly sourced in the beginning.
Sure.
You know? And then it's like, is that real news or fake news or rumors, or where does that fall, and how's Facebook going to stop that?
Sure, I think the heart of the matter here is finding the sites that you think do it right. You know what I mean? I don't think IGN would have written about it and not clarified in some way what that was. And granted, I understand Ground Zero, maybe they fuck it up, right? I thought in a savage retweet yesterday, Patrick Klepek retweeted the IGN Last Guardian is canceled, like the day all the reviews were posted. I was like, fuck Klepek, that's really harsh. But then also like that takes me back to that moment of when IGN Russia's saying it and like, all right, run with it kind of thing.
It was one of the most infuriating moments of my entire career.
Sure. Yeah, we had nothing to do with it.
Nope, we didn't. But if we did, it wouldn't have gotten written.
But that's the thing is like everybody makes mistakes, and that's the problem where you make a mistake and you can get flogged for it 2 years later on Twitter that you're still.
Oh, I got blamed for that, and I didn't even write it.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was false, and if anyone actually bothered to ask me, I would have told them that. But the particular thing that I think is interesting about this on Facebook is that I'm dubious of Facebook. I like the idea of, let me back up. People are talking about like how this is a First Amendment issue. It isn't. It's not a First Amendment issue. You don't understand what the First Amendment is if you think this is an issue. First Amendment is the government telling you can't say something. News sites, private sites or public sites like Facebook and Twitter have every right to curtail whatever you want. And then they banned, famously Twitter banned Milo Yiannopoulos and other people from Twitter completely, and people are flipping out about this. And it's like, I wouldn't probably do that because it shows that you're somewhat biased against far right people, which maybe you should be, but there's a bunch of far left fucking lunatics. I mean, there are plenty of just nut jobs on the left on Twitter as well, and you leave them alone. So I understand how that can be a little bit weird, and it's actually the same thing with Facebook, where earlier in the year, I think it was earlier in the year, it was during the primaries, Facebook was actually had active news curators, and what we found out was that they were incredibly biased, that they would bury anything positive about Republicans or Trump or any of the other Republicans running and raise all this left-wing stuff up. And that's my particular concern, is that there's actually a partisan lens that this is all being done through. The point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of character assassination, a lot of very personal kind of attacks going on that I think are veiled attacks to diminish a person's political reputation or personal reputation, all those kinds of things. And I'm afraid that if we just focus on one particular side of it, that we it's the false equivalency thing people get mad about with Trump versus Clinton or whatever, where everyone's like, well, I always said like, well, Clinton's certainly more fit than Trump, but they both are fucking terrible. And I stand by that. And it's the same kind of thing where, people are like, well, there's a false equivalency. The right is doing this far more to people on the left than the left on the right. And I'm like, that's true. But you just have to make sure to balance those kinds of things out so that like, because what I'm afraid of happening, and this is what I'm seeing, particularly with the fake news cycle and the kind of the attacks on, specifically on Trump and his people, is like, they're gonna exhaust the American public right into a second Trump term. They keep doing this, like that's the crazy thing there in terms of, trying to bury things that might be true under the guise of fake news. So if I'm making any sense, what I'm particularly saying is we have to make sure that fake news isn't this wide swath of things that you just don't like. But
Sure.
It also can't just be character assassinations on one side that are ignored at the sake of other character assassinations on the other side, equally false, but they're the ones targeted. So you have to have some sort of you have to have like an ombudsman doing, and probably a bunch of ombudsmen doing this in a very fair way. And it's hard to remove your biases when you're doing these kinds of things. And that's why I'm very dubious of Facebook's ability to do this and Twitter's ability to do this, and why I do understand the distraught nature of some people being like, well, why are all of these people being targeted, but not all of these people? And then when you start going down that road, then what you find is that you're just removing disparate voices that everyone kind of thinks are crazy anyway, but there's still some sort of inherent bias that people think you're working under. So my solution would be to leave it all alone. You have to be some sort of fucking moron to think half these things are true anyway. And if you do, then that's your problem. Like it's not my problem that you think that this thing about Hillary Clinton's real. Read it. What's the source? You know, like, did no one go to school and learn about primary and secondary sources? Like,
I mean, most people
just
who
don't
are using them want to throw them
understand.
around. Like, I've had arguments with people about this where they're throwing things out. I'm like, that's not true. Like, well, that's what I read. I'm like, no, you read a headline about that. That's not really what is happening. And that's where you're getting all these beliefs, and that's where you're going and how you're voting and how you did in the past presidential election.
Yeah, the other problem too is that in terms of like what's your source, like I feel like so much of the fake news things, at least I don't know nowadays, but a year or two ago, it was always sites that looked like real sites. So it'd be like Wall Street Journal, but journal like the L was actually capital I. Like things like that to like trick people.
Yeah.
So they think that it's a legit thing, and the site looks exactly like the other site looks. And this happens a lot with so many different things. And I remember there was like a really long going thing where there was like video game sites that did this, and there was a whole bunch of fake ass Half-Life 3 coming, this date, and like all this shit that's like obviously not true, but it looked like IGN's reporting on it. It looked like, GameSpot is backing it up and all this shit, but it's not. But then people see that and they're like, oh, well, that's credible. That's totally like, I believe this is a real thing. So then they share it, and then everybody else just has it. And then once it gets caught in the algorithms, you're done. Like, because then that site is there forever. And with how these sites work, and there's no really way around it without fucking everything up, that means those sites are always going to get promoted on Facebook and going to get put in front of people. So when they do the next thing, they already have that jump off point of being seen by X amount of people, which they're then going to share it, and then the cycle continues.
Yeah, I think to the point, like a more laissez-faire approach, I think is actually the most appropriate, specifically because I just don't know how you win. Like, well, that's to your point. Like it just, I think letting it all go is better than trying to curtail or monitor or kind of create these artificial walls, because then you're basically people are only seeing what you want them, like what you want them to see, and then there is even if you think you're doing the right thing and you're saying like, well, this is real, it's like, well, this goes back to the Trump conversation we had several weeks ago, where we're like, I don't trust what anyone says anyway, and I don't even trust the news wires anymore. Nonetheless, Politico and The Hill and all these sites that I really actually love, even Drudge obviously has, who I adore and I've revered for a long time. I have a huge problem with him too, because everyone's just got an agenda, and so just let everyone have their agendas, and then you just have to figure out what's actually true and what's false. It's unfortunate that has to be that way, but Walter Cronkite and all these people are fucking long gone, and the internet has proliferated information to such a degree that anyone can write something. The political piece I wrote about the election was probably read and shared more than half the shit on Politico, but I could have just made all that up. No, and there's no way to monitor that, and so I understand people's particular anger and animosity towards this particular thing, but I just don't know how you solve it.
You asked in the beginning, how do you solve it and what do you do? And I mean, I do think it's putting it on Facebook, putting it on Twitter is tough. I think the easier answer is making a better informed voting base. You know what I mean? A better country, or more informed country in terms of what they're consuming and how they're consuming it, and what a trusted source looks like and what a trusted website looks like, and getting beyond the headline and doing all these things that are super difficult when all you want to do is scroll through your Facebook feed, where it is an echo chamber. I'm not talking about our video game echo chamber. It's the echo chamber of who you follow and who you like, so that when I see, family members who are sharing these memes or stuff where you're like, this isn't true at all. Like, but that's all you're seeing because that's all you're
There's text on an image.
Exactly.
So
You're in this, that's who you follow. So you see the same things over and over again. If you just followed us, you'd think the veto was super successful. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to have a wide berth of things. And I use Steve Bannon again as an example. I don't find Steve Bannon a very savory person. I think I'm a little confused why he's even involved in anything at all, because he has no experience in political strategy. But he did help win Trump the election or whatever. And when people really started to talk about him, I think people have to train themselves to just be skeptical about the things that they're hearing, like do they pass the basic smell test or whatever. When I was reading these particular things about Steve Bannon's a neo-Nazi. Steve Bannon hates women. Steve Bannon, I'm like, what went through my mind, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm like, this, like, how is that possible? How is it possible that Steve Bannon, who's basically the chief of staff, is a neo-Nazi? How is that possible? So I started reading all the stories, and I'm like, and I'm reading these sensational headlines from Slate, from reputable sources, from Mother Jones, from all these things, and I'm like, but then you read the story, right? And I'm like, what did he say? What has he said? Why? Where do you get these things from? And it all points back to Breitbart. And I'm like, okay, so he didn't say any of this actually. And so you start to say like, okay, the man gave a platform to terrible people to say terrible things, but he didn't say it. And I'm like, that is an important differentiator. He's just a businessman that wants to make money, and he just found his niche. I have no idea how the fuck he feels because he doesn't say anything. So should we try to maybe get an interview? Should we try to get a primary source? Who knows the man? Can we figure out, but no one does the digging. Then that kind of shit just circulates and spins constantly, and then it becomes part of the zeitgeist of politics or part of the news cycle. And then it becomes true. And I'm like, and I still look at the man today and I still read about it. And I'm like, I just don't know what's true about this person because of this problem. Like, it doesn't make sense. Is there really a white supremacist in the Oval Office? I just, you understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, it just doesn't pass the basic smell test.
I mean, based on what you said, though, I mean, it's like, well, he seems like a shitty guy. If that's,
yeah, he does.
If that's the business model he's going to give people too, right?
Sure, I'm not disputing that.
Like, I think
at
if
all.
we put up videos of like people saying like, "Man, black people suck," and like we were like, "Well, we didn't say it. Alfredo did." Like, it's like, I would still think that would blow back on us and make us look like that. And I don't think
sure, but
but
draw it back. I don't dispute that at all with him. And it might not be the best example because I've only read Breitbart a few times and I just find it a strange website and not for me. It's a little too far right and a little too intentionally inflammatory. I don't think it's even inflammatory. I think they just do it to be inflammatory, and I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't think there's any value in that. But I also don't like making value judgments based on degrees of separation from things too. Like, I want to know like what people have said and what people have done. And so I just try to I guess what I'm trying to say is I try to also give people the benefit of the doubt until I see, because I know what it's like in a much less major way and in a much less inflammatory way. People say, like on forum stuff, say like, well, Colin said this and that. I'm like, no, I didn't. I never said that. I just never ever said it.
Sure.
Like, and so I know what that's like to be attacked. It's video games mostly, but
it's still the same. I mean, coming off of PSX, I said something on our panel that got twisted and misquoted and put out there, and people were pissed about it. I'm like, it's not what I said, so you can totally be mad about that. But when you watch the video or listen to the MP3, hopefully you'll be like, oh, wait, no.
Like, there was a guy on NeoGAF once, and someone pointed this out to me. This was a long time ago, where someone was like, I was making fun of the Wii U somewhere, something like that, and some guy was saying, I watched Colin play, what was the game? It was like Bayonetta or something like that. Like, I watched Colin, he was terrible at it. I was at E3, I was behind or whatever, and I'm like, that literally never happened. I never even played Wii U, I don't think once at E3 until I played Zelda. And I'm like, so you're literally just making shit up about me. Then that gets spun out of control. And then people read into those kinds of things. And so I try to be cognizant of those. Like, I'm like, that's just not, that doesn't happen. You're a fucking liar. And so when I read things like that, then I'm like, well, I want to just get down to the nitty gritty and to the truth. And the truth about this particular Steve Bannon guy, for instance, is we don't know what's in his heart. He gave a platform to these people. That's the headline. Not automatically making an assumption or making an inflammatory thing that drives a wedge between people and offends people for no reason, with no journalistic integrity there. I have a huge problem with that. Might be that he's a fucking full-blown Joseph Goebbels type. I have no idea. But, I'm looking for quotes. I'm looking for primary sources. I'm looking for people to actually do the hard work. And we were talking about it before, where these people just regurgitate shit over and over again. And then you just don't know what the source is and where it came from. It's not valuable to anybody, Mm-hmm. So I think the solution with fake news is to educate yourself. It's the same thing I always say about Citizens United, right? Everyone's all upset about money and politics. I'm like, the only reason money and politics works is because you don't care. You're easy enough to be bought with a commercial. That's embarrassing. You should be embarrassed to admit that. You should be so embarrassed to admit that money is buying your opinions instead of just going and doing the hard work of reading about what's actually true and what's actually real. Money and politics wouldn't matter if you actually gave a fuck.
Sure.
So Citizens United is irrelevant.
But Scott Wiener had Steve Urkel in his commercial.
He did.
That's true.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to this woman on the plane the other day. I never told you this story. I was on the plane the other day, right, flying back. This woman, I look over, she's got an iPhone, and she's watching Family Matters reruns on it. It's like, fuck.
That's dead a motherfucking
I was like,
cation.
damn, all right,
I
cool.
wonder how she did that.
And I was trying to figure out if it was the United on the United
Something
Direct.
tells me it's
but even
not.
then, I was like, would United have all of fucking Family Matters on this fucking phone?
She must have, either, bought on DVD, ripped it herself,
Yeah.
like
You can buy
converted
them
it
on
to
iTunes
MP4.
probably, right? They got
Really?
Family Matters on iTunes, you think, Kev? Thanks, Kev.
Or she bought them on iTunes, which somehow is even worse.
So I think that I don't know. So I just thought it was an interesting topic. I particularly am fascinated by the Steve Bannon guy because I just don't understand him, and I don't understand how this whole, I read about him pretty often when new things come up. But what I'm finding is it's just because he refuses to talk to anyone really. I think he gave an interview actually to Hollywood Reporter, which was pretty interesting. That I retweeted and people got mad about that. But where I was just like, well, what's the it's kind of the way I feel at North Korea, where like there's just no information, so you gobble up any possible thing you can, but you don't really know what's true or false, huh? Oh yeah, well,
I mean, they sent Dennis Rodman over there.
but we don't
Is he
know.
that bad?
But we don't know anything about them. Is the point? Like we don't have an inside source. We don't have like even the South Koreans have a problem at infiltrating them. They don't really know what's going on and like the power structure there. It's just an example of like I'm curious about what the truth is, and unfortunately, I think what's happened with this fake news thing is that there's actually 2 or 3 or 4 truths, and that's just not possible. That's just not possible, right? Steve Bannon either is an anti-Semite or he isn't. And what I've seen is I'm like, okay, he has a website that has some anti-Semitic views, right? Or was I don't really know what he did there, but he was a high up person there, right? At this website that gives voice to disparate alt-right. I don't even really know what alt-right means, but this alt-right, I really don't. I have no idea what that term means.
According to the internet, neo-Nazi.
But this neo-Nazi, I don't know, whatever, right? And then I'm seeing things where I'm like, there are literally Jewish people working for him saying like, the man's not an anti-Semite. I work with him, you know? And I'm like, how can those both be true? Like, I don't understand how can they possibly both be true? It's not possible. So someone's lying, right? One of these things isn't true. And that's the one problem with a problem with the fake news thing is like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like facts were objective at one point.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. You know, they were objective. But this is the silly season we kind of live in now, and I think it's going to get worse. And I don't really think it's incumbent on Facebook and Twitter to monitor these things. I think it really is incumbent on people to figure it out for themselves. If it's too weird or too strange or doesn't sound right, it probably isn't. Yeah, or at least there's some sort of mistruth or a nugget of truth within the fakeness or whatever. I don't know. It's an interesting kind of thing. I just wish everyone stopped talking about it so we can get back to the real news.
Thank you very much, Kev. Family Matters available on iTunes right now, ladies and gentlemen. My topic. I thought we'd play a game of The Contender.
Ooh.
I think it's been a tense 2016 with all this election stuff. So now us 3 will run for president against each other.
Oh, God.
Why?
I don't know.
It's a card game. It's not like we actually have to know things.
Oh, okay.
We're going to need Skycam big time on this one, Big Kev Dog. So this is The Contender, the game of presidential debate. About this time last year, I believe, or possibly the Christmas before that, Justin Young sent this in to you, Colin Moriarty. And we never ever used it.
Nope.
And then I saw it on the shelf in the spare bedroom because now it's very abandoned. And I thought, we should do this as a topic. It'll be great for the 4 of us.
Okay.
And then Nick's like, too bad you put all your eggs in that basket. I ain't going to be here. So start opening up these things. I'll tell you the rules, all right?
Do we need all of them open?
Yeah. I think we're going to want to keep the orange ones that are over here apart. Do not toss a
No,
knife
there's
at
no
us,
need.
please.
They have little things on them like cigarette packs.
So the setup here, I'm going to go through. Number 1, setup. Whoever, Kevin, this is something you're going to have to vote on, and you're going to be the final voice of reason on this. Before you go, just answer this question. Whoever has the most presidential hair is the first moderator. Who has the most presidential hair of us, Kevin?
Greg, probably.
I'm going to go with Greg. Presidents don't use as much product as I use.
No, I don't like. It's
Yeah,
so
it's definitely
cool
Greg.
though. Look at
that.
it. It's so cool.
Look towards me a little bit, Greg. Yeah.
I don't know. He's too cool to be a
You
president.
see that thing?
Doing this a lot. All right, so it's me. I'm the first moderator.
So cool.
Gameplay. The moderator draws a topic card and reads it to the candidates.
Okay.
The candidate to the left of the monitor, that'd be you, Tim, responds by playing 1, 2, or 3 argument cards while reading the text aloud. After playing, the candidate draws until they, again, hold 5 argument cards. Play continues in a circle until each candidate has played exactly 3 cards. Candidates who do not play all 3 at once will take several turns. Winning. At the end of the round, the moderator awards the topic card to their favorite candidate. That person becomes the new moderator. Whoever collects the most topic cards wins. So these are the topic cards? Yes. Let's separate all the topic cards off this thing.
Topic cards.
So these are all your argument. Oh, no, they're attack and distract.
Attack, distract,
but I think
attack.
that still counts. Even attack and distract counts as an argument card. You understand?
So what do you have right now? What are those?
These are the topic cards.
Okay, cool.
So we'll do a test of what we think the round is.
Okay.
And then I'll show you how I think it's going to play. What the fuck was
I don't
that?
know.
Why did you do that?
Felt right at the time.
Okay. Do you
It's a
still-
presidential thing to do. 2020 is a different time.
2020 is definitely a different time. So, theoretically, I would draw this topic card. Corporate handouts. Candidate, the country is recovering from a devastating real estate bubble. Yet, the current administration continues to dole out billions to America's wealthiest corporations. Does this strategy make it rain on a needy economy? Or does it leave the poorest among us without an umbrella? Then, Tim, you'd have 5 cards. There are your 5.
Are they all attack or some defense?
They
distract.
They're
Some are
all.
distract.
They're all.
These are all. There's one attack.
I mean, I'm gonna shuffle all this stuff for you, but they're. So then that would be down there. You do the first candidate to go. Candidate to the left of the response by playing 1, 2, or 3 argument cards. Remember, you're gonna go for a total of 3. So you could go all at once if you wanted. Make your one giant argument. You could go piece by piece. Respond to what he's saying with your things. You understand what's happening?
How many can I do? Do I just
Three.
choose one?
The round ends when you've both played 3 cards.
Both. So it's not all 3 of us.
I'm the moderator. You're playing right now against Colin.
Colin. Okay.
You're going to make an argument.
Using these cards.
You could put down all 3 things. You could put down 3 cards right now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that would be, then you're done. And Colin can take his thing and be like, well, he says this, so I'm going to say, bah, and pop down like, these different things. Are you following?
Yes.
So do I get them as well?
Yeah.
So what are
There's
these
your
other,
5.
What are these other stacks?
I mean, I'm
There are
just
just tons of cards.
going to throw
Because
these
you play
3
5
down.
at a time or whatever.
'Cause
All right,
why
cool.
the fuck not?
So corporate handouts. Give me
Yeah.
you tell me what you're gonna say.
That's trader talk. I would like to be the first to say, this is me.
Okay. Colin, how would you respond?
So wait, I'm confused because I have these cards with like fill in the blanks.
Okay.
So I don't know how these all fit. So
I don't know either. This is my first time playing Contender. We just opened it.
fill in the blank spaces on cards with the topic from the current topic card.
Oh, so corporate handouts.
Okay.
So you have to fill it with corporate handouts.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's 40 topic cards and 460 argument cards. Candidates string together multiple argument cards to create the best argument, attack opponents, or
Okay,
rally the
I
public.
got it.
Okay.
I got it. Ready?
Yeah.
Kevin, go to the sky cam. Americans are learning about corporate handouts from TV. I will not rest until all Americans have corporate handouts. I will finish what I started.
Damn. And now that you've each played 3 cards, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I would pick who I think wins. Play continues in a circle until each candidate has played exactly 3 cards. Okay.
And yours are where are yours?
These are mine.
So put him.
Colin wins this round.
That's trader talk. I would like to be the first to say this is me.
See, so like
It's like a Donald Trump.
that's
answer.
the way I think it's more interesting to play. And I'm not gonna stop you. Is that if Colin would have been like, Americans are learning about that from TV, right? And then you would have played that's trader talk, and then he would have responded with another card, and you would have responded again. I think you can go for the knockout punch right away.
Got it,
This is
got
my
it.
argument. This all flows together perfectly.
Got it. Okay.
But I don't think you have to.
But
feel
so
that
now
way.
I need to respond to that with one of these?
No,
No, it's
because
over.
now you've played 3 cards. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why
So
I think,
that was the
I
same
think the
run.
1x1 makes more sense personally.
So we can put all of these cards together then, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
so let's-
Since you're drawing so much.
Wait, let's shuffle them all up.
I like
These are-
this.
these are all
I like this a
shuffle.
lot.
Push these in.
Okay. Here, I'll shuffle
Topic
these
cards
up
will
for
get
you.
discarded up here.
I like this. This is fun.
Yeah, we're learning a new game.
Yay.
You know what I got in the mail the other day? The Sign Out and Happiness game. What is it called?
Joke hazard.
Joking hazard. Yeah, I got my big red box, another one from because I backed on Kickstarter after we did it.
Huh.
We should
We're,
play that again.
we're supposed to be voices in that. I forgot about that. We're supposed to record them.
The
What?
game?
Yeah. Oops.
What game?
I hate you.
No, for their shows.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good gig for us.
Yeah.
We make voices a lot. Animated series right now. Kindoffunny.com.
Can we make sure that happens?
Animatedseries.com.
Yeah, it'll happen.
What?
Yeah.
That's what you said about being in that Rooster Teeth movie.
Yeah, that's a great point. You did fuck us out of being in the Rooster Teeth movie.
You guys didn't know this. I was in the movie. Fuck you all.
You weren't in the movie.
No, I wasn't.
Here you go.
All right, cool.
But if
I'll
you
dole you
believe.
out 5 each. Put that up there. Nice ad for this. And this isn't sponsored, by the way,
No, clearly not.
as we don't really
They're like,
know.
hold on to it for 18 months and then do something with it.
I'll give myself 5 too.
Kevin can be
be
the
right.
moderator.
Well, the problem with that is I thought about that too, that Kevin could moderate each one of the arguments, but then what if he only just keeps picking you?
Why would he do that?
Because he loves you the most.
But I mean,
Kevin, can you be an impartial moderator?
I
so
don't
what?
like Tim that
You're
much.
going to be an impartial moderator?
Yeah.
You love Colin the most.
No.
Yeah, it's not even close.
No.
But Colin doesn't love you that much.
I know. That's why I'd punish him.
These are awesome.
So do we want to make Kev the moderator? Or do
Yeah,
we?
let Kevin be
Okay.
the moderator.
All right, cool.
I wasn't listening to the rules
So
or
We're
understand
gonna make.
how this works.
We're gonna put down a topic card. Actually, hold on. I'm coming to you.
Okay, but there's a lot of things open here that you're like, wait, you're not working.
These are the.
Let me get my coffee.
Oh.
You'll read out the debate topic, and then we'll each go around. Starting from Tim this way around.
So I picked the one I like best.
Sure, that's fine. Whatever you think. Yeah, that's fine.
All right,
that's not how
Skycam.
you're supposed to play it. But I
Yeah,
think-
yeah, yeah.
And
All
are
right,
we
so
all?
is it
We're
you-
looking good on
you two?
Skycam up here.
Yeah. What do you want to?
Skycam. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move these down. Give ourselves a bigger field to play. See, Kevin?
There you go. I mean, it's not like people are going to be able to read the cards.
Well,
It still looks
it's
pretty.
still interesting.
We
More
want it to
interesting
look
than, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we make a pretty shot?
No, it's pretty looking.
All right, gameplay.
That looks good.
So moderator draws a topic card and reads it to the candidates. The candidate to the left of the moderator responds by playing 1, 2, or 3 argument cards while reading the text aloud. After playing, the candidate draws until they are back to 5 argument cards. The play continues in a circle until each candidate has played exactly 3 cards. Candidates who do not play all 3 cards at once will take several turns. Winning at the end of the round, a moderator awards the topic to their favorite candidate. That person becomes a new moderator. Whoever wins, I guess, will start the next round.
Okay, so just pick one off the top. Just pick the one off the top and read it. Kev.
Christmas. Candidate. Over 50% of voters who describe themselves as Christian claim that this is a culture war on Christmas. No, there is a culture war on Christmas. Do you believe this? The reason for the season is under fire? Or should those concerned realize that there's more than one way to deck the halls?
You're a regular Gwen Eiffel over there. All right, let's see.
I don't know what that means.
She's
Tim's
dead.
starting,
She's dead,
Tim's
actually. R.I.P. Gwen Eiffel.
I don't know what that means.
Tim, you have to start off this argument here
Famous-
before Kevin decides to win.
She's a moderator for a
Damn
bunch
it.
of political. She worked at PBS forever. She was the black woman that's on PBS NewsHour.
Oh yeah, she did just pass away. So Christmas and the war on it, Tim. What do you got to start off?
On
What are you doing?
Christmas.
But wait, so who's going? All 3 of you guys are going right now?
Tim's gonna go,
Uh-huh.
and then as many as he puts down, then Colin goes, and as many as he puts down, I go, and then once we've all played 3 cards, it's over. But we'll just keep going. You go around the circle until everybody's put down 3.
All right, so
Got it.
Tim.
Tim's
So
leading
Tim
off. Skycam.
Activate my trump card.
Say it.
Not so fast.
You're just gonna leave it at that, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Christmas will not happen without us. Oh, you can draw a card.
Oh, okay. Responding to Colin. Want to bet?
Coward.
My black friends will agree with me on the following point.
What's your point?
You're a racist.
Not gonna lie, guys. Colin's doing great.
About the Christmas?
That's all you got about Christmas?
Hold on. Okay, all right. So my here we go. Okay, so he says black friends will agree with me on this. You're racist. Black friends, racists. That's all you ever talk about. And then I look at the give me my one because this is what I would say to the people. Rich people. Am I right?
He had the perfect card.
Who won the debate?
Oh,
Oh, no, sorry.
Tim's
Tim's
gotta go.
still gotta go. Tim's sorry.
Oh man, I don't got any good ones.
Did you forfeit?
So don't blame rich people.
I think you can use for those blanks. You can use whatever you want.
Oh, don't blame rich people. Blame the people who use Christmas. Not my best hand.
Okay.
Kevin, who do you think won that debate?
Now Colin did very good. But Greg, just having to have that card.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Greg.
Thank
Okay,
you.
that's fair enough.
It's 1 point for me.
Similar to Hillary Clinton, it doesn't work when you call everyone racist. We've learned that here in the contender.
Who do I give this stack to right now?
No, we'll keep track. I have one. Don't worry. You keep no because I think we're making
better with him as
We're just gonna
moderator.
make
throw
you
all your
moderator.
cards- So
Yeah.
throw all your cards away, and then we'll give you 5 more.
Oh, really? Damn it. Okay, I was keeping this one. We can't fix blank with space lasers.
Damn. Should I read the next one?
Not yet. Hold on. We're getting our cards.
Okay.
Okay.
Outsourcing. Candidates. Despite federal and state incentives to stay stateside, companies continue to flock overseas. Do lower prices bolster the economy? Or are the companies selling American workers out? selling them out.
We just need to improve the existing system.
Damn. Presidential answer.
How dare you?
Solid rebuttal.
We would be fools to ignore outsourcing.
Our children are victims of an abundance of outsourcing. When the going gets rough, you gotta hang tough to make it. Telling the people to hang tough, the businesses.
Oh, I gotta take two.
Stop talking. Oh, you already did 3, right?
No, you
2.
did 2.
Oh, you only did 2? Ooh.
I'm black. Deal with it.
I gotta give this one to Colin.
It's not over.
Oh, it's not?
No.
I don't understand the rules.
My administration has top men working on outsourcing right now.
Oh, so you're the incumbent?
I don't know. I said we. It says we. I was
okay.
I guess my team. I can just we. We have top men working on outsourcing right now.
Still gonna give it to Colin.
It's not over.
Everyone has to play 3 cards, Kevin. I can play them all at once or one at a time.
It seemed like you guys have played a bunch of cards already.
This isn't a beauty contest.
Now you're giving us to Colin officially?
Still give it to
All right,
Colin.
thank you.
Tim, are you even trying?
It's hard, man. I'm just trying to deal with what
I mean,
I've got.
Colin seems to have no problem.
He's getting a lot of good race ones.
I'm dealing.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
Do you get the race pile in front of him?
I need to have one card that says something about
Black
people on every hand. All right, let's see.
Kev, you want to read? You can.
Yeah. Police brutality. Candidate. Law enforcement has come under fire as viral videos of alleged police misconduct makes headlines. Do you believe our boys in blue are seeing red, or is the current outrage whitewashing a complex issue?
Look, this is a bunch of stuff.
Solid start, Tim. Solid start. Can you keep it going?
Let's see. Someone must be telling the truth.
That's a little off base. We have always been better at police brutality than other nations.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
We're going to need something more substantial than that.
Ooh. Shots fired.
I don't like any of my cards. Resist insanity. Embrace sanity. That's it.
Trust no one.
I play by my own rules.
I would like to take a moment to thank our super awesome moderator.
Brown nosing aside, Tim had the strongest start. And so
Oh, we got ourselves a race over here.
But excellent strategy, Colin.
Good job.
You want me to do it?
Excellent strategy.
I don't know if I like it.
It's interesting. I don't think I would play it very often.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like it's on paper. It sounds like it's gonna be like a Cards Against Humanity or Choking Hazard. Fill in the stuff, but then it's just so the arguments are all so disjointed. And are we playing it wrong? I don't think we're playing it wrong, right? Because
No,
it
we
feels
are.
like
We
if
are.
you
It sounds- I read
if
it.
you could interject or whatever, something like you say something and I'm like no, I don't know. Or if you had 3 rounds at a time, you know what I mean? 3 sets.
Let's
of
play
hands.
one more. This will be the tiebreaker.
Whoever wins this wins it.
And Kev, give us the table when you're done.
Do you want me to stay on the table?
Well, just when we're drawing card, when we're playing the cards, yeah.
Okay.
Give me the read though on what our topic is.
Drugs. Candidate. If current trends hold, over 50% of Americans will admit to having used an illegal drug by the end of the year. Very high. Has our current concept of what should and shouldn't be legal gone up in smoke? Buns.
We get it. You have feelings.
I would do anything for drugs.
We have drugs on life support.
Well, great. Another opinion.
Yada, 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 drugs.
The solution starts with drugs.
My hair gets more press than your solution.
Make it count, boys.
If you like drugs so much, why don't you marry it?
I'm afraid it's not that simple.
Kevin?
I think I have to give it to Greg.
Hey!
Greg won the debate.
Hooray!
The contender.
The master debater, some would call me. The
Yeah, I think
contender,
it's a little
there it
bit of a disjointed
President
game. It's a
Miller.
nice idea. I think it's a little half-baked in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's part of that whole trend of easy to play. I mean, the rules are very easy to understand, but unfortunately, there's no depth to the game, in my opinion. So
Yeah, I feel
it's
like...
got a limited play there,
Yeah, exactly. Hold on. So after
Those are the rules, man.
I know.
Dems to rules.
You can't respond to playing 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Kevin.
Reading the text line.
You were a great
You're an excellent
moderator.
moderator.
Yeah,
You're a
good
regular
job.
Candy Crawley over there. Remember when Candy Crawley ruined Mitt Romney's chances of being president in 2012 by making shit up about him during the debate? That was fun. Hey,
Remember Donald Trump became president by making shit up?
yeah, it's different times we live in.
Sure.
Different times we live in.
Meh. All right, final topic comes from patreon.com/kindafunny, where our good friend Tack Track supported us to get his topic right on the show. And he says, New Year's Eve stories. Everybody, strap in, because this is a Tack Track story, which we all love.
Good Lord.
Please share. Tim, cue the air horn. I was at a bar for New Year's Eve, and I ran into a girl that I had been working on the week prior. Not being one to allow a good opportunity to go undone, I went to work on her again. The bar owners, whom I knew, asked if we wanted to come to their place for the after party. I said sure. The girl was down too, and all signs were pointing towards my most wildly successful New Year's yet. Right? Wrong. About 30 minutes into the after party, the champagne, whiskey, hash, and beer started to catch up with me.
Ash!
My world started spinning. I knew I had to push the abort button before something embarrassing happened. I signaled my friend and we got the hell out of there. Then it hit me. Where was the girl I drove over with? I had left the party with her. Sure as shit, the phone rings and it's her screaming, "Where are you?" I said, "Well, that's interesting. I thought you left with us." She then states, "You left me. You left me." I said, "I'll come back to get you." She follows with, "Oh no, I don't think so." To which I replied, "But can I see you again though?" She gave me one of those sarcastic sounding laughs and hung up. Happy New Year, Tack Track.
Good for you.
You fucked up. It's the hash.
Fucked up.
The hash always causes problems.
Tack Track. New Year's Eve stories. New Year's, as I've said before in our holiday rundowns, of course, just another one of these holidays. All right, it's happened once. Do we have to relive it every time? Do we have to, you know what I mean? Like, is it, whatever. It's the ball's dropping. We all make fun of Ryan Seacrest and Dick Clark. We all end up watching it though. It's always going to be on there eventually. For us, it's on time delay. It's even worse.
I know that's the problem with. So New Year's, there's a lot of problems with New Year's. The first problem is that the day the year is 365 and a quarter days. So you want me to do it like this? This better?
My job's to tell you when it sounds
Right, bro. So the date line is in the Pacific, and Australia goes first, which is ridiculous. Then by the time you get all the way around to us, it's over. New York has the real New Year's Eve. The East Coast, because it's the ball drop. It's the famous ball. I'm just saying, it's the famous ball drop, right?
Sure.
And
Totally
so
lame
we're
and stupid.
No, it is. It's ridiculous. But by the time everyone's already done with New Year's, by the time we get to, I feel like it's so disingenuous in California because I'm like, it's over. Everyone else in the world has celebrated this by now. It's
Not
done.
Hawaii.
It's done. Yeah, Hawaii.
Poor Hawaii.
They're over there
They're out
doing
there
pig
doing whatever the
roasts.
fuck they're
fine.
doing.
They're doing good stuff.
So, but I'm with you, Greg. I've always hated New Year's. I've never liked it. My only New Year's memory that I have that I think is even worth talking about is in 2011 when I remember two things about this night. One was Greg took an Uber home from Nate Ahern's house on New Year's Eve, and I paid something like $170 for it or something like that. And I took the Muni for free and got home before he did. We left at the
No,
same.
you got home.
Yes,
You got home 10
yes,
minutes. No, 5 minutes after.
No,
I got there first. I got there first.
No, you didn't.
Nope, that's not
no,
true.
No, you didn't.
That's not true.
I got on the Muni
Right.
at church at church in DeBose.
It was running for free. I know. I
And
know
it was
exactly
running
what
for
you're
free,
saying.
and I got home before
You did not
even
beat
got
me.
home.
No, because
And you paid $170 for that Uber.
Yeah, that's
It was
that's
like
about
5
right.
times surging or something.
No, it's
like
way more than that. This is like Uber is brand new. I was trying to impress this girl I was with.
that. So
work?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
She was the sister of a friend of not a friend of an acquaintance of ours that we used to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that, and then that same night, I remember I had skin cancer, and so I opted to get. They had like these various days, so we can do it this day, this day, this day, and I'm like, I want to get over with as soon as possible, and they were like, all right, so we can do it on like December 27th or something like that, and that seemed like a good idea because I was like, the quicker I get it out of the way, the quicker I'm gonna heal.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I have this huge bandage on my nose and this huge gashes. I have to go to Nate Ahern's holiday party and explain to everyone why this had happened. So that's like really like my only memory. I just fucking hate New Year's. I don't get why it's a big deal. I feel like it's kind of sad in a way.
The thing about New Year's that is enjoyable is that it's the holiday for your friends after back-to-back holidays with your family. This is the time where, all right, cool, all we're doing is going out and getting lit, getting drunk, partying the night away, listening to a DJ, fucking punching somebody and running away and acting like it was a cop. You know what I mean?
Wait, I feel like the dude who punched was a cop?
Or are you running away from a cop, or are you the cop?
Exactly. Nobody knows. You're so lit. Nobody knows what's happening at that point.
Lit.
So that's my, I don't know. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan.
It's not that I'm not a fan. It's just like, like this year I'll be in New Orleans. That'll be fun. That'll be different. There'll be something going on. Okay, cool. I'll be there with Jen, Eric Castro, and Amelia. It'll be fun. We'll do something different. That's fine. But all the other ones where it's just like, I'm at somebody's house, cool, we eat some food. Scott Lowe used to throw, a thing. I'd go over to his house and hang out, eat some food, hang out, drink, watch,
Call it
whatever.
night.
Yeah,
Wake up the next morning.
I remember once we went to one here at Rick House. Craig Barradon, I believe, took over the top level of Rick House. We went there. That was fine too.
Sounds
like
like
all right,
Craig Barradon move.
It does sound like a Barradon move.
Yeah.
But it's just at some point, it's just like, all right, we got a little bit dressed up and we're drinking. All right, whatever. New Year's Eve stories for Tack Track. I remember in college one year, we were doing a dumb antler party, and then somebody we tangentially knew was throwing a New Year's Eve party there where you're supposed to wear Hawaiian shirts. So we went there and did it, and our friend Parker made out with some random girl. And that was like the biggest success story. We all took photos while it was happening with like wind up cameras and shit. That's dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
I think I threw an underage drinking party once for New Year's. I can't remember. But that sounds like something we did.
That's a Greg Miller move,
that does sound like what we did. Yeah. I remember when Y2K was happening. You've read about this in the history books.
I have.
When Y2K was happening, I remember being in the basement of my house, watching WWE had some kind of New Year's special that night or whatever, right? And I remember watching, and at midnight, like, waiting for something to happen and nothing happened. Like, oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I was listening for something to explode.
It's funny. I remember that 99 and the 2001 as well because I was in my room with my friend Kevin, who I haven't even seen since high school. And I was.
You attract a lot of Kevins.
I do attract a lot of Kevins.
Not
For some people
attracted to
just keep naming their kids Kevin as well. So that's another thing as well.
Solid
It's just
name.
it's not a bad name, but it's a very
Kevin Arnold.
It's very. I know, which makes it all worthwhile actually because that's really a fantastic show, The Wonder Years. But I remember that as well because I remember my buddy Kevin was playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I was on my computer in my room on my 56K modem. It was very cool. And I was waiting and waiting.
For something.
Yeah, and it just didn't happen because they had fixed the problem and it was all overblown. I can't imagine if we had a more connected social media, broadband, internet in 2000, how out of control Y2K would have been. Because that really was, for people that are younger, don't remember, Y2K really was a fucking crazy thing. It really started in like 98 when computer scientists were like, we might have actually completely botched everything. Like the computers are not going to respond well to the turn of the century or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really the turn of the century until 2001, of course. But because there is no year zero, Greg, you see? This is the whole argument that Kramer and Jerry have.
It's a dumb argument.
And
you know
Newman.
what I mean? I think we can all just admit 2000.
And it is
Sorry.
quite lame. Yeah. But I love that episode. The Kramer, what is it? A Newmania?
New Mania.
I don't know, whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Do you like New Year's, Tim? Or do you have stories? Interesting anecdotes?
First time I had anal was on New Year's.
Nice.
It was quite the
Receiving it or giving it?
giving it.
Oh, okay.
Giving it. Yeah, haven't received it yet.
Was it
always
because
next
of
year.
that? Was it because it was New Year's? Let's do something special. Let's start
It
the
was
new
New
year
Year's,
with a
and
pop.
things, like it came out of nowhere, as it usually does. But yeah, it literally hit midnight, and she just looked at me and said, "Do you want to put it in my butt?" We're at a party, and I said yes. And then we left the party.
As you
put it in her
do.
butt.
As you do.
Did you ever get a finger in your butt?
Finger in my butt? I haven't.
You want one?
What's up?
Some people say it's awesome. I don't have the balls to do it.
I don't have
Some people say if you can hit a spot in there, that's fantastic.
G-spot.
I don't have.
G-spot.
I don't have the pioneering spirit to
Cowper's gland.
investigate. I believe him. All right, cool. I'm enjoying normal orgasms. I don't need anything.
See,
in the butt.
my thing, we've talked about this in love and sex stuff before, but finger in the butt, if it's your thing, go for it. do you. My thing is, I'm not against it. Go for you want to go in there, do your thing. But I don't suggest you go in there because like I have to deal with down there sometimes, and I don't like it. You know, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the women I've been sexually involved with, they know what's going on down there. Things are always tidy and clean in a way that there's no moment in my life that it's tidy and clean down there.
Yeah,
I feel like I wipe, I shower, I can wipe, I can do all I want. It's still a mess down there. It's still not a good place to be.
No, I wouldn't want to be down there either. I mean, if a woman wants to, lick the butthole, I'm going to be like, well, if that's what you're into, but you have to know X, Y, and Z is actually true. It's not. It's dangerous down there, you know. But if you're willing to withstand the danger, then have all of your pleasures, all of the pleasures with my butthole that you want to have.
Yeah, I think there was one New Year's party, and I'd like to hear this to twist this into something for you because I do. This is an underage drinking story of when we discovered drinking and how great it was, and how we tried to throw parties and stuff, and then we couldn't do it at the condo anymore because the cops tried to bust me, but I had a library card. Long story. Then we started doing the hotel parties where we would just rent hotel rooms through somebody's brother because somebody's brother was 25 and get the thing and you go there. And I remember, and I was hard to believe I know Tim, but I was a big gimmick person. I liked having a gimmick for these parties, right? And so one New Year's party, what I had is I bought this oversized Heineken bottle, and I was gonna drink that entire oversized, and I mean like huge. If you're at home, I'm talking like, I don't know. If you're at home, I don't know what I'm talking about actually. I guess 4 feet tall. This giant Heineken bottle that came down and then went out. You know what I mean, real wide. And I remember drinking that. And I rember distinctly being at like an extended stay and being underneath like the little kitchen bar area they had with this giant bottle, trying to finish it. Like it was killing me. Because there was a lot more beer in there than I thought there was.
4 feet of beer.
Yeah. And now, granted, keep in mind, nowadays, I bet I could take this Heineken bottle down, no problem. But this is like, I'm just getting my drinking shoes. I didn't know what I was signing up for. I had one Heineken in France, and I was like, yeah, this is great. Because I went to France as an underage child to drink for the first time with my friends.
I've seen pictures.
And the plan was, I'm going to find the drink that will be my drink. I'm going to find my drink. And I got a martini. And you're jumping right on a bull. It's already bucket at that point when you get that. Took it, sipped it, terrible, couldn't drink it. Poe tried to drink it, he couldn't drink it. What do we do? Because we want to buy another drink. We bought these drinks, of course, legally. What do we do, though? Because we don't want to look like idiots to the bartenders. Take it, put it in the ball return of a pool table. Because we are children who shouldn't be drinking. And so I went through a whole bunch of tequila sunrises, random ass shit you're drinking, trying to figure out what you want, right? And finally ordered a beer. Yeah, that's it. That's the Heineken bottle. Good job, Kev. Good job. Got a beer there.
Over here.
A Heineken beer. Got it. It comes with, they give you the glass, they give me the bottle. I take it and just start pouring it like this. So it's all just head. This girl, Amy, had to stop me because she had a way rougher childhood, apparently, show me how to drink. And I was like, you know what? Beer's delicious. I'm going to drink beer.
Beer's my drink.
You jump to New Year's where I'm like, let's fucking get a
Take
giant.
it down 4 feet of Heineken.
Yeah, let's do this. I popped the top. It had a little thing in there. There it is. Look at that motherfucker. You know what, Kevin? Order me one off Amazon. Let's see. Next Game Over Greggy show.
I want to order 4, 5. Let's do this, man.
Edward
Christmas
Heineken
special.
hands. Ein arm.
Just order some Old E and we'll really get down.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Old E and some Dutches.
New Year's, man. I don't know. Like I'm not against it. I hope everybody has a nice New Year's and goes out and celebrates and own acquaintance. Sure, do whatever you got to do.
Oh yeah.
But I'll tell you, like that was the thing. Jen's up in Montreal. We knew we'd be together this year. She's like, do you want to drive down to New York City and do the ball drop? Like, and she said, do you want to do it knowing it's totally cheesy and all this other shit? And I'm like,
not cheesy.
even knowing it,
Don't do it.
even with a wink and a nod, no, I don't want to do that. I don't really want to go there and be around 4 million people.
Anywhere near New York
that's horrible.
City.
I mean, even in SF, we got a bullshit ass fireworks display. It's embarrassing.
So much fog.
It's fucking embarrassing because it's just fog.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see anything. And then, getting anywhere after that is a disaster. It's not worth it. Buses stop even running. The only
They run
other...
the buses late.
They do... Yeah, I know, but they're horrible, though. And they don't run perfectly. They drive by you because they're fucking full. The only other New Year's stories I have is when I was younger, my mom insisted that we go out to see the fucking fireworks. And we go. My mom, you guys have seen her. If you haven't seen her at home, she is... quite the old specimen. She goes out there with this fucking cane. Like, she's had a cane since the day I was born. She goes out with this cane in front of the bus because like 3 buses have passed us. She like stands there with the cane. She's like, you're gonna stop for us. And the bus is like a block away. And I was like, oh, my mom's gonna die tonight. The bus fucking stopped.
Of course
and
it
they
did.
made people make room for her. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Nice
We
job.
got home. But
Gandalf.
that sucked. Didn't compare to anal, I'll tell you that much.
Well, what does compare to anal at the end of the day?
Great question.
No, don't go to New York City. Don't ever go anywhere near
No,
New
that's
York
what I was
City for New Year's
explaining.
Eve.
I'm
You
like,
gotta
I
be
understand it
fucking kidding me.
looks like even it's dumb. We got the
bad.
glasses in the hat. I'm like, you have to understand the nightmare, the lining up. And like, whenever they talk to these people, oh, we've been lined up since 1 a.m. to be like 24 hours standing in the fucking Times Square. Times Square sucks normally.
Yeah,
I don't want
Times
to go
Square's-
there.
Times Square fucking sucks. And
I love Times Square.
Oh, Midtown
normally.
Manhattan sucks. I hate that fucking place. It's just the worst. Everyone's there. Why is everyone here? You know,
'Cause
like
it's cool. And there's a lot of lights and TVs everywhere.
isn't.
There's a baller ass Toys R Us.
Everyone's
that
like, where
has
can
a
I go
fucking
eat around here?
Ferris
I'm like,
wheel
go-
in the Toys R Us.
you gotta go. Just leave Manhattan. Why are you even here? Just go
Go to Ragtown.
Brooklyn.
Go to Ragtown.
You know,
They actually have a dude in a giraffe costume walking around Toys R Us.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
God, I can't
And
wait
seeing
to go
him
to New
riding
York.
up and down the escalators is fucking
I
awesome.
believe that the Toys R Us used to be the big FAO Schwartz, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
well, they
From
can suck
Big.
Which I used to fucking love going there when I was a kid. But yeah, I remember when we walked through Occupy Wall Street too,
Yeah,
which
we
was
got that
fucking
pizza.
hilarious.
That's a good pizza.
And I was just had the pizza above me, and I was just talking shit to everyone as I was
Yeah.
walking through. It was fun. It was a good time.
It was. Yeah, it was very New York.
Get a job, sir. Is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Oh, I did say that. I'm sorry.
We threw a New Year's party at the old place at the old Rincon Tower I used to live in down by the ferry building, which was awesome because the fireworks were right there at the ferry building. So eventually they started popping off. Portillo peed. He got scared. We were having a big party. He never heard. He had never been. I mean, we're in a tower. We're right there. Fireworks are incredibly close to the small dog. So then I carried him. But then we went down and went out onto the roof and we're just out there watching fireworks. It was
It's a
great.
roof, Greg. It's a roof.
Roof. That's what I said.
It's a roof.
There was one time I was down there in my older years, and my friend got in a fight, and while he
Colonel
was
got in a
fighting,
fight?
no, it was my friend Vincent, got in a fight. They're fighting over some dumb bullshit, and meanwhile, I'm just looking at this happen. I'm just like, this, whatever, you fucked up. Like, it was his fault entirely. Shit's going down, but in the background, there was a truck being flipped over by a group of other people, and I was just like,
San Francisco.
fucking New Year's. This is why?
Yeah.
Why do we allow this to happen? Like,
That's
let's
the problem.
This is a perfect connection back to the first topic.
like, let's just support this. Like, oh, everyone's here. There's no fucking. We can all walk in the street and be crazy, and
Every-
everyone's
fucking
drinking,
wasted.
fucking flipping cars and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, dude, don't be doing that.
I just find I gotta say as an end note, at least my own end note to this particular conversation is, as I get older, I find thank you.
Sweatshirt.
I find the gratuitous level of drinking and like I'm so hammered. It's like so corny. You know, like you, at some point that has to stop. You have to like at 25 years old. I think you just can't do that anymore. You have to be like
To be
if you
proud
go-
of it?
Yeah, to be like I'm so drunk. Like learn how to drink. You know, it's not that. If you're getting drunk after 2 beers or like 3 cocktails, you might not be made out.
What
for
if
this
they're
kind
the
of thing.
4-foot beers?
And that's the 4 foot. I mean, that's a different kind of story.
Okay.
But I hate this thing where everyone thinks that, like alcohol excuses everything, and that for them to be. I'm like everyone's just judging you for not being able to hold your liquor, and at some point you're not 18 anymore. What? Think what?
Like that alcohol excuses. I don't think I've
Yes.
ever met anyone that's like, oh, wow.
Oh, totally.
I've
Act
met
like
a
an
fucking
asshole.
million people that.
Really?
Are you
Yeah, that
kidding
act like
me?
an asshole, and the next morning it was like, oh,
we
I'm
don't
so
hang
fucked
around
up.
dumb shits.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Oh my
well,
God.
let's not. Okay.
No, I mean,
That was
honestly,
like
I've
my
met some
entire
of your
college
friends.
experience.
All right.
I honestly like.
Don't be
I
doing
don't know.
that.
Like,
Put on a collared shirt, James. Take off the Giants jersey.
He's fine.
I'm fucking around. I know he's fine.
James
I
is
wouldn't.
fine.
I wouldn't ever dime out. I
There's
wouldn't
other
really.
people that aren't fine, but they're not my friends.
Missy?
Missy's crazy.
I just don't like crazy,
Can't imagine Missy drunk.
like in your face, loud ass drunk people. It's just not.
no one
Okay,
does.
it's not okay. No, I think some people do, and they attract each other, and that makes it even worse because then there's groups. It's like cattle herding.
New
each
Jersey
other.
people.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Some of those walk that speakeasy I was telling you about down by Ruby Sky. We were there the other night, and some people came in. They weren't bad or anything, but it was the same thing. Like it's a hush tone, chill bar, and they came in. They were super loud, and they had like the tribal tattoos, and they were like really old, but they looked like Jersey Shore people.
those are my people.
Yeah, and they had the accent too.
Those are my people. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that those aren't my people. They are. Long Island, New Jersey have a very close kindred connection with the loud. People on Jersey Shore. Some of those people are my family. So I know those. I know these people. These are.
You served with these people.
Sir, I know the Jersey Shore people. I served with the Jersey Shore people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 3, sometimes 4 best friends gather on this table, each bringing a random topic discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get every episode early, along with a bunch of exclusive perks and goodies, similar to how Tack Track got his topic right on the show. If you have no bucks to toss, no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we put up the entire show, topic by topic, day by day, until it goes up as one big video in MP3. Guys, thank you so much. It was a fun episode.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, please tweet rest in peace to Nick Scarpino.
Nick
Like
_
at Nick _ Scarpino. Otherwise, Portillo Nick Scarpino is going to have no idea what the fuck's going on. And until next time, no. It's been our pleasure to serve you.
I was watching him play like Photograph and stuff like that. So he plays like the real snare drum, but everything else is like
Every time I do,
different Photograph. It's a different Photograph.
And how did Joey's eyes get so red?
It's a different, better Photograph than that.
Photograph.
Yeah, that one.
I don't need your
Yeah,
photograph.
that's a great song.